her when it was a little puppy. She lost it not too long ago. She's got 2 dogs, Border Collie, Rough Collie crosses, and she lost one of them recently. She's still a little bit...
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hey everybody. Welcome to this suddenly very full house of players.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure where that came from.
Blamewell?
So, yes, without further ado, hello and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. I guess I shall do the spiel. I'm not used to sitting in the DM's chair, but my time has come. Hello to everyone watching on Twitch, and if you are watching on YouTube, please be sure to join us live for this show, The Deck of Many Worlds, and we are at, bear with me because I'm in the UK, so my time zones are a bit squiffy. So I believe it's 5 p.m. EST, EDT, because daylight savings, and 10 p.m. in the UK for me as it is right now. Yeah. And so welcome to episode 1 of The Deck of Many Worlds. We're going to go around the cast and crew because we've never met any of these beautiful characters before, and I think it's time we did. So I'm just going to go clockwise here. So first up, Cleric of Cord.
Well, hello. I'm so excited. I've been wanting to play with you for so long, and this is great. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord. I am going to be playing Pepper, who is a gnome rogue. And she's going to be fun, I have a feeling. Sailor background. She's red curly hair, green eyes, and looking for a bit more adventure in her life. Tired of running the con games.
Awesome. I think next up is Damascus. Am I getting my characters right?
Yes. So my name is Alyssa, and I am playing Damascus, the black-scaled, dragonborn forge cleric.
Awesome. I haven't actually played in a game with Dragonborn for a while, so that's going to be really good. Okay, next up is Bobcat Johnson.
I'm sorry, the way you said that was perfect.
Every time a character says that name, it's going to have a twang. I'm sorry.
Hey everybody, I am Birdie, aka the Birdiesaurus. I am playing Bobcat Johnson. He is a human druid, and this is my first time playing a druid, so I'm super stoked. We're gonna have some fun with some wild shapes and stuff. But yeah, he's a water Davian, and up till this point has been working most of his life at the Waterdeep Zoo. So we'll see what kind of trouble he can get the rest of everyone else into.
Oh, I'm counting on it. Next up is, I believe maybe I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Padaya Cedrin?
Yeah, that's right. I'm Padaya Cedrin. I'm a human rogue. I used to be a holy man and a doctor, but the City of Waterdeep has a way of chewing you up and spitting you back out. So now it hasn't worked out so well.
Amazing.
And I am Nat. I'm Nat, N-A-T, or at CrimeNat on Twitter.
Also, next is Peerless, who I believe is a fighter of some kind.
That's right. So my name is Tim, also known as Craft Zero on here, and I'm playing Peerless, who is a human fighter, a noble, which is by far the most important thing, that he's a noble, and he'll let you know that. So.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, we have Anka, a barbarian.
Yes. Richard, real name, and very new to 5th edition. So, yeah. Also,
Oh, that's what we're here for. We're all gonna, anyone who hasn't played much 5th edition before, hopefully we'll take it fairly slow and people can pick it up. Cool. And then I guess I should mention myself. My name's Rachel. I am at Talinir on Twitter, and I am going to be the Dungeon Master for this little campaign. which could honestly go any which way. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I have a basic structure, but we're going to see how my lovely cast members ruin all of my plans. I'm sure
That
you
is our
won't.
job, right?
I mean, that's basically what you're here for, so just see if you can throw any unexpected twists at me. Okay, but before we begin today's show, we're just going to quickly go through our lovely sponsors, which make all of this possible. Starting with Fancy Grounds, who we are using right now. I have never used Fancy Grounds before, but I've kind of picked it up quite quick, and the interface is really fun, and it's addictive to roll these little virtual dice, so definitely give it a go. So yeah, all of the rolling you can see in the little box below all of us will be done using Fancy Grounds, which you can try for free at fancygrounds.com. Also, we're sponsored by Wayland Games, which is a great company which I have used before to buy miniatures, because I also play miniature games, which you can probably tell. And I have no money left in my wallet because I play miniature games. So check out waylandgames.co.uk. They also have loads of D&D stuff, Warhammer, 40k. I picked up some Malifaux off of Wayland Games, if anyone else plays Malifaux, but it's pretty cute. And they almost always have 20% off of regular retail prices. Cool. Also, there is Tabletop Loot, and they sell some gorgeous dice. And when we hit 20 retweets, we'll be giving away a set of dice for you guys in chat. And yes, I'm not sure if I need to put something in chat right now, Cleric, to go along with that one. Finally, remind you all that you can interact with today's game. You can donate to affect the events that will transpire in this game, giving players natural ones, nat 20s, wild magic surges, and this month's special, the Table of Pets, which, oh, if you give these players pets, I need to not kill them because I love pets in games. You're going to break me if you do that. Also, if there's a moment you love during the show, please clip it on Twitch, because clips are hilarious, and we'll be using these in highlight reels and on Twitter. So, without any further ado, I think it's probably time to begin episode 1 of the Deck of Many Worlds. Is everyone more or less ready?
Yes.
Ready.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you
Sure.
again so much for being here, as we will begin this story, I guess. Okay, so Waterdeep at high tide. The City of Splendors on such a summer's day would usually be swarming with life. Vendors peddling a myriad of wares of varying legitimacy, guilds and factions each conducting their business whether covertly or otherwise, and the residents of the great city as varied as a populace could be, going about their daily business. On this afternoon, however, a heavy summer shower sweeps through the city. Many have sought shelter inside, and the many markets and street vendors have erected thick canvas awnings to protect their wares. Here by the dock ward, the rain churns the silt-laden waters of the bay and batters the hundreds of ships that are moored here, though it has not prevented the ceaseless flow of goods to and from the harbours. Lights flicker invitingly from many taverns and pubs along the edge of the waterfront, packed to bursting as the scent of fresh rain mingles with that of pipeweed, hearth smoke, and ale. Close by the now sodden markets, a wooden sign is rocked lightly by the breeze, dripping rainwater down the backs of passers-by underneath. It shows a pair of hands, palms lifting a small gilded treasure chest with an intricate lock. The name of the establishment, Corellan's Curios, is written in unusual gold geometric letters slightly above the worn motif. Now, starting with Pepper, I would like each of you to describe your characters to me and tell me why you might be in the vicinity of this old antiques shop in the dock ward of Waterdeep on such a rainy summer's day.
Well, Pepper is about a little over 2.5 feet tall, and she is sitting astride a large mastiff who's wearing just a collar with a name tag that says Oscar on it. And she's here because she, for the last 40 odd years, she's not really sure how long it's been, she's been raising groups of street kids, having been a street kid herself. And one of the things that she does is finds them jobs, placement. Some apprentice into the Thieves Guild, some become runners, messengers. Few go work at different inns as they grow up, but they learn skills. And she is here because she has heard that this business has a rather large warehouse. And she's hoping to talk to the owner to maybe see about employing a few of the older kids in the group and maybe scope out the place just a little.
Just a little stakeout. Nothing much.
Yeah, just see if they've got anything interesting that's not behind glass and locks.
How about Bobcat Johnson?
Well, Bobcat is about 5'11". He's got a bald head, but you kind of can't tell because he's wearing this. It almost looks like a cowboy hat, but it's made out of leather and it's weathered, and you can tell he's been wearing it for 100 years, and it's all form-fitted to his head. And he's in, comfy clothes, shorts, and a button-up shirt like you'd kind of see a zookeeper wearing. And Bobcat has been hanging around this particular shop, and actually most of the shops in the shop area, because he's looking for something that was stolen from him. His mentor, as he was dying, actually gave him this vial, and it didn't mean much at the time, but it sat on a shelf. And recently, a bunch of thieves came in. They broke in. They stole everything in his office, and he's just really hoping to find this because it's like the last piece of his mentor that is remaining, and he's hoping they just pawned it off real quick at an antique store, general shop, or something like that. So he's just been hanging around trying to check out the daily wares.
All right, as we go around clockwise for our wonderful viewer players, how about Damascus?
Damascus is tall, probably about 6 foot or so, kind of lean, but with broad shoulders and strong arms from swinging a hammer at the forge. They have black scales and electric blue eyes and chainmail. And they like to look at just the various items that come into the antique shop, because you never know what you might find.
You never know indeed. All right then, next up I believe is Padaya.
Alright, well, so Padia's got, middle-aged man with some graying hair pulled back, but he's hidden under a hat to keep the rain off. He's got a nice outfit on, but kind of dusty and worn, got a bolo tie going on. And he's, honestly, doesn't got anywhere to go right now and not enough coin to waste on drinks. He's not much of a drinker, so he's just looking for a place to get out of the rain, and maybe the last thing he tried didn't really work that well in his life, so he's kind of looking for a new path to go down. And sometimes the world has a way of assigning those to you when you're needing them.
Perhaps it will. Peerless, why are you in this vicinity?
So Peerless is about a little over 6 foot tall, wearing, he's got short blonde hair, perfectly shaved, wearing a fine silk cloak. His chainmail looks polished. He tends to walk with his chest full and very confident. I'm here today looking for a gift to my aunt, who is sort of the matriarch of House Amaranth. And I'm here to try to find her a gift to try to get back into her good graces, because I'm not the best nephew, and so I'm trying to find a gift.
A most admirable reason. And lastly, how about Anka?
In the bar, getting drunk as a skunk.
A good reason as any, definitely. So
Big Goliath, about 7.5 foot tall, grey skin, black eyes, great axe on the back. Not very much except a loincloth.
classic barbarian Goliath then. So those of you who have already stepped foot inside the establishment, who might that be?
I don't
Okay. Most of you.
Yeah,
then.
Pepper
Don't
slipped
worry.
in probably with somebody else. She would have just kind of slid in.
The proprietor of the shop is, if you have frequented the establishment before, you might recognize them. They are a very tall elven gentleman. You can see laugh lines at the corner of his eyes, some very slight lines around the corner of his lips, which kind of demonstrate this is quite old for an elf. They don't tend to show signs of age for a couple of 100 years at least. And this tall elven gentleman has a perpetual furrow in the center of his brow that suggests he frowns far too often. And is dressed in these long, slimming navy and sky blue robes trimmed with silver and clearly of very fine make. He wears a pair of circular silver spectacles that he keeps pushing up the bridge of his nose. And he watches you quietly from behind the desk as he seems to be going through a ledger of some sort. Checking stock, perhaps. It's not amazingly obvious. The shop itself isn't enormous, as far as you can see. It's very, very well organized. There are beautiful glass cabinets that have been kept spotless from any sort of dust, and various trinkets of all sorts of precious materials or beautiful antique fabrics, or even furniture here and there. Nothing overly remarkable by any stretch of the imagination, but plenty of quite classy heirlooms, perhaps, the origins of which might be rather mysterious, but still quite pleasant to look around. He kind of watches you as you're looking around and addresses Peerless first, being perhaps the most finely dressed maybe out of the group. Excuse me, can I help you with anything specific?
Yes, I'm looking for a gift for a relative. Something fancy, something perhaps with a bit of gold, maybe platinum, not very expensive, if possible.
Oh, yes, we might have something to that matter. Come over here, and he walks out from behind the counter and leads you to the other side of the room where there is a particularly nice collection of various kitchenware almost. And he points out a silver tea set, including a beautifully ornate silver teapot with what looks like carvings of peacocks strutting around the base of this teapot, with the feathers curling back and forming the actual handle of the pot itself. This is of particularly fine make. I'm not sure if it's something you might be interested in as a gift. It's excellent condition, and they say it will never tarnish. Some form of enchantment, or rather, I can't tell you exactly the nature of it, but it has never taken a spot of dirt or tarnish ever since it came into my possession some years ago.
Oh, this is exceptional. May I inquire something so precious? How much?
Now let me see. Now, for this item, I don't always ask for an upfront payment. For some of my wares are worth a great amount of coin, you understand.
Of course.
For this item, I'd be looking at a initial payment of, let's say, around the order of 20 gold dragons, and then you could pay the rest summarily over the course of the next couple of months or weeks, depending on your budget exactly. The full price is close to about, I believe this item was about 80 gold, since, you know, it is including quite a fine enchantment on the piece, you see.
What did you say your name was?
Oh, I apologize, I did not introduce myself to you fully. You may call me Curator Marcello, or just the Curator is absolutely fine if that is what you would prefer.
Curator Marcello. My name is Peerless of House Amaranth. I'll just take a look around, maybe find something not so ostentatious. If
Of
that's
course, please take all the time you would like.
right. Thank you. I'll
And he-
wander away looking a little bit hurt in the wallet.
You're not totally sure whether he's clocked this expression or not, but he heads back behind the desk and back to his books. Is there anything the rest of you would like to be doing in particular?
Pepper's, Oscar's with her. She's not writing him anymore. She's kind of standing next to him. She's kind of keeping Oscar between her and the Elvis gentleman, using him as kind of cover, as it were. Trying to move quietly, stealthily. And she's not. She's definitely trying not to draw attention to herself as she takes stock of the place and is looking to see what kind of business is this? The place is clean. Things are neat, orderly. She's not seeing any sign of other help other than the one gentleman. So she's appraising it as if it's worth getting one of her street kids here to work.
Okay. Make an investigation check for me.
Alrighty.
First roll of the game.
Oh yeah.
Good one.
Oh no.
Yeah, so
Here we go.
I mean, Fantasy Grounds tends not to like me very much. I mean, RNG's just not.
Well,
Don't pray to
you're
him,
lucky
it's off
because
exhibition.
my rolls are always awful.
And so,
So
it
on a
begins.
5, you don't. It's hard to say. It doesn't look like he has any form of assistance or help in the shop itself. But regardless, it still seems to be in a very, very good condition. You are unable to find a reasonable kind of coating of dust on any surface. Even the footprints as you came through the door, you realize that it's pouring with rain outside, and really you should all have left quite muddy footprints from the churned ground and cobbles in the street outside. And this is the dock ward after all. It's not the cleanest district in Waterdeep, but the floor and indeed the doormat just inside the door are remarkably clean and bereft of dirty footprints. Is anyone else looking for anything in particular?
Yeah, so Bobcat is actually, he's been here a lot. He's here at least a couple times a week just checking in to see new stock. So he's actually going to walk up to the curator and Curator Markello. What a pleasure to see you again today.
Yes. Was it, he kind of snaps his fingers a bit. Puma, I think. Am I getting that right?
Real close. It's Bobcat Johnson. I'm here 3 times a week. You're getting a little old, man. Getting a little old. That's all right.
That's what happens when you have over 400 years under your belt, I'm afraid.
That's true. That's crazy, man. That's too long. You should not live that long. It's weird. I don't get it. Anyways, listen, I'm looking, as always, for my vial. Have you seen it? Beautiful vial. Contains some stuff in it. It's got some things around the top. Looks like vines. Yeah?
Yes, this is probably the 12th time you've brought this object up in my presence. I'm afraid, very much like the last 11 occurrences, I cannot say it's fallen into my possession since the last time you visited. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry, Bobcat, but I have nothing else I can really offer at this time. I mean, I'm sure I have a great variety of vials. If you are looking for another vial of some sort, I'm sure many are enchanted as well, if that is of interest to you.
No, just that one is of interest to me. I appreciate it though. I'm gonna keep checking though. You talk about having the best stuff in town and always getting new stock, so I'm gonna keep coming back, man. I'm gonna keep coming back. I'm gonna get that vial. It's gonna be great.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I promise if it falls into my possession, I will notify you immediately.
What's so special about this
Maybe
vial?
you should write my name down this time.
Right, yes, maybe I should.
What
And you
was
see him
that?
slowly bring his ledger out.
Okay. It's good on you, man. All right. Good. All right. I'm gonna walk over. I'm gonna go look at this stuff. What is this? This looks cool. He's like pointing at some random like encrusted skull or something.
Ah, yes, well, that's actually quite an interesting piece. And he starts rambling off and talking about these items, whether you're listening or not.
Yeah. I'm not.
Bobcat, was it?
Yeah, man, Bobcat Johnson, how's it going?
If you don't mind me asking, just, you seem mighty fixated on this little vial. What's so special about this one? Like, is there something inside it that's particularly important to you?
No, there's nothing particularly important inside of it. At least not that I know of. It pretty much tree sap, but it belonged to a mentor of mine, and it was stolen, and I'm just hoping to get it back. That's all. Just trying to check out the local shops, see what people have in stock. I'm hoping the thieves tried to just kind of like offload it before getting out of town, so it's not really special.
As you say that, Markello looks up and says, I never do business with thieves. I'll have you know, all of my wares are most legitimately sourced.
No, not accusing you of anything like that. I know that the thieves tend to want to get out of town real quick with valuable stuff or sell it on the underground, but since this was so worthless, I was hoping they just sold it to someone on the street and maybe that person brought it to you. I would never accuse you of something like that. Don't worry.
He just nods slowly and gives you a very wearing look.
Well, I hope that you are fruitful in your search.
Man, I appreciate that. You're a good dude. Thanks.
Thanks.
As you're having this conversation, and Markello was kind of watching you over the rim of his glasses, he has a very Giles from Buffy look about him, if that is kind of a reference point. And he just watches you as you peruse the store. As you do so, you start to feel a rumble shifting the ground very gently beneath your feet, almost like a very minor earth tremor.
Do we all feel it?
Yes, all of you will feel this. And it
I look
persists.
Pepper
like-
freezes.
I
She has
look
her
into
hand
my
on
cup.
Oscar, looking.
I look into my mug and just go. I shake him, making sure that it's not. the,
Mug's empty, man. You made your way through that one. There's nothing left. But the rumbling does not stop, and all of a sudden there is a blast that shatters the lull of the rainy afternoon. I would like everyone, please, to make a dexterity saving throw.
+1. I can't. How do I put a
Good
plus
so
one
far,
on this
guys.
thing? How do I do a +1 on this thing?
If you hover over modifier, click it, and just put a 1 in that box, it'll add a 1 into there for you.
Modifier. It doesn't give me that.
Just add a 1 onto it then in your head and tell me what it is.
Yeah, mine's a 14. I didn't add. Sorry.
19.
19, all right. In that case, Anka, you are the only one. Yeah, actually no, Damascus as well. Damascus and Anka, you managed to brace yourselves as this blast suddenly powers past you, and this blast wave throws almost everyone else in the vicinity to the ground, including the rest of you inside the shop, and indeed Markello himself. The wave of force seems to blast outwards from somewhere behind the shop itself, ripping through the street as water is thrown into the air, drenching anyone else who might have been outside at the time. What do you do?
Pepper is on Oscar, riding him out of the store and around the building to see what's going on.
Walk outside and just go. Whoever did that is buying me another drink.
It's a fair assumption.
I'm just gonna stand up, shake my hat off, and put it on, because apparently I'm outside again now.
Yeah, Bobcat just wants to do a quick check on the curator and make sure he didn't get his head knocked in since he's so old. And just check everyone in the room that's still there and just say, are you guys okay? Are you guys okay? Everyone all right?
Good.
Yeah. Fine.
Pepper's already out the door.
So, curiously, to Bobcat, as you're looking around, very little actually seems to have suffered any direct damage. Although there's still this
good.
feeling of heavy pressure in the air that kind of presses to the corner of your skull, like a bit like a headache that hasn't quite formed yet, as all of you are just kind of looking around. And indeed, Pepper, as you ride around towards the back of the shop, your way is kind of blocked as it seems like one of the very large warehouses of the dock ward immediately backs onto the little antique shop. And it is from within that building that the blast wave seems to come. And in fact, you do remember just behind the counter in the shop, there was a very plain-looking door that you might have just assumed to have been a back door that, to your mind, that seems to be leading on into this large, kind of greyish plain building.
Any fire, any smoke, any signs of what might have caused the explosion?
Nope, there's no signs that would really suggest that anything out of the ordinary had happened, apart from the fact that the water has clearly been splashed upwards from the blast waves as it came outward. And some of the dirt has been kind of also splashed up the side of the buildings. Aside from that, there's no obvious signs apart from this just dull pressure in your head, which it just feels like the sensation before a storm.
That's odd. Let's take a look, Oscar. And she's gonna tell him to sit, stay. I'll be back. You know how this works. We've done this 100 times before. No wandering off this time. I don't care what kind of treats they have. And then she slides off of Oscar and starts walking to see if she can see what's going on. Maybe check out, look for, is the warehouse actually blown open or is it intact? And there's
Seems to be perfectly intact.
Yeah, so she'll head down to the water's edge, to the edge of the dock, and see if she can see what's going on.
Okay, I'll get back to you in a minute. The rest of you, those of you who are inside the shop at this point, the curator, now he's kind of come to his senses and he seems to have stood up and he seems to be in an all right condition. He looks behind him to the door and then back at the rest of you. Oh gosh, that's not good. That shouldn't happen. That's not supposed to happen. There's no way that's supposed to happen. Hold on just a second. And for a moment he disappears as he, faster than you might have given him credit for moving, opens that back door and disappears into whatever is beyond. But scarcely a few seconds seem to pass before it slams open again and he steps back out into the shop and he looks very concerned.
Are you all right, sir?
Hey, man.
Yes.
What did happen?
I'm not exactly sure, but this absolutely should not happen. I have many wards in place. They're not so simple to break. Please, could I?
Calm down, sir. Calm down. Take a deep breath and tell it to us slowly.
It appears someone might have broken into my storehouse. I only have so many eyes. I would certainly appreciate anyone who could try and help me identify if anyone is still inside my establishment or if anything has been taken. I would very much appreciate this.
Mr. Cat,
Absolutely.
would you be willing to go with me?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Mr. Johnson, but you can call me Bobcat. But yeah, I'm down. Let's go.
Oh, very well. But what about you, sir? And you? Is that a dragonborn over there?
Looks like it. We don't get many of those in the zoo, so I'm not sure.
Well, if anyone is of able body and mind, I could use some aid in investigating this for the caretaker.
Of course.
Padia's is going to take a couple steps towards the door.
Anka, you could probably also hear a fairly heated, if not obvious, conversation coming from the shop just across from the tavern that you are currently, well, you've just left and staggered outside.
Right on. I kind of say through the door. Is anyone that can hear?
Oh, my lord.
Well, shall we? Anyone's interested in helping? Please join along with me.
Markello was also just kind of staring at the Goliath for a moment and then comes to his senses. Yes, you as well. You look strong in body at least. Please come along quick. We have to try and root out some thieves that seem to have broken into my warehouse. And he turns and quickly heads inside, and he holds the door open for the rest of you to enter.
I will draw my weapon and unlimber my shield and go forth.
Simply pull Grex over shoulder, just have it kind of ready to go on shoulder.
All right. Back to Pepper. You wind your way around the other side of the warehouse, which does back out onto the actual waterfront itself. Could you please roll me an investigation check?
I think we've already established that I'm not very good at those.
True.
No, that's a bit better.
Not bad. Well,
Whilst you still don't see any obvious signs of a blast or an explosion or even any kind of damage, you do notice that a little way above where you're standing, there is an open window, just slightly ajar. It wouldn't particularly be anything notable if not for the events that just transpired.
How high off the ground is it?
It's a little way up, however, there are lots of kind of crates and barrels stacked against the wall of this warehouse, and you could probably make your way up there if you would like to try. It would either be athletics or acrobatics, depending on the way in which you want to describe your ascendance.
Yeah, I think she would do that. She'd kind of look around and start shoving things over to climb in and take a peek. So let's see. I didn't mean to grab my sheet. Oh, I think she's going to have problems.
You try to climb your way up to the window, and you can feel like the slippery algae that's grown over some of these crates starting to cause you to lose your grip. And just as you're about to fall down, you feel a pressure underneath you, and you realize that Oscar has stepped up with his paws, braced against the wall to kind of push you up the extra distance that you needed so you could reach the window.
I want an Oscar.
Oh, good boy, Oscar. Good boy.
That's so precious.
Thank you so much. Oh, Oscar, I love you so much. Well, not love. We've had that conversation, but you know what I mean. And then she's going to
hear a kind of as he kind of nods.
And she peeks into the window. She's kind of hanging there like...
So all of you are now inside the warehouse. And as the rest of you enter through the door from the antique shop, Markello closes the door behind you. It appears that the curator must have purchased this large dockyard storage warehouse to act as essentially extra storage for the antique shop itself. However, this space is more than 100 times larger than the floor plan of the shop itself, and it's filled front to back, floor to ceiling, with sealed wooden crates. Each one is identical and completely plain, with no seeming identifying markings on it. The space is devoid of any of the lavish decoration that was present in the actual customer-facing portion of the shop, and you can feel this chill draft whistle through the wooden eaves of the warehouse. Dust is still starting to settle in clouds from the actual blast, and you can hear the rain continuing to batter the roof above. But other than that, there's no obvious sign of any recent sort of ruckus or explosion.
How's the lighting in there? Is
the
it
lighting,
lit?
it's a very, very soft and dim light. You can't actually quite make out where it's coming from. You can't see any obvious torches. There's no points of light on the ceiling. It almost looks like between these corridors of endless crates themselves, there seems to be this light just lighting each of these corridors from within, and you're not entirely sure where it comes from. The curator, however, looks to the rest of you. Right. I should be enough on my own to check out the far side. I will start from the east wall and make my way back in this direction. If the rest of you could, I don't know, fan out, head down these corridors. Please tell me if you see any disturbed crate, any products that have been misplaced or moved, or indeed if you catch anyone at all, please try and subdue them if you can. I need to find out how someone got into this place without any sort of alarm going off. I am at a loss for words as to what on earth's going on here. And as he
Should
says
you
that,
be going off alone, sir? Should you be going off alone? Okay.
Don't worry about me. In my own establishment, I am perfectly safe now. Just watch out for each other, though. There's some rather potent stuff in this room. Be careful. And whatever you do, do not touch anything that hasn't already been disturbed. Do you understand?
Yes. Yes. Does everyone understand that?
I will know if you do.
Of course.
Lovely. Happy hunting. I will see you back here. Well, if I find anything, I will let you know one way or another. If you, please do notify me. I'll be able to hear you shout.
I, as Bobcat, would like to immediately try to see if I see any rats. Notice any little creepy crawlies moving around.
Roll a perception check for me.
Okay. I will do that. Maybe. I did it.
Wow.
Nice.
Dirty 20. I love it.
Get there.
Not only do you see no sign of rats, you see no rat droppings, you see no cobwebs, you see no real sign of the usual rodents or arthropods, insects that might inhabit such as this.
All right, that is immediately going to set off some red flags in Bobcat's mind. So I'm gonna relay this to the group and just say, guys, something weird's going on here. There's nothing that should be here. There's no spiders. There's no rats. This place is too clean. It's weird. It's freaking me out a little bit.
Maybe it's the magic. Those things can protect against these kind of infestations.
I believe no place can be too clean, but I get your meaning.
It's not natural.
By this point, the curator has disappeared into the gloom of the corridors, and you are left, the rest of you, alone.
I shall go first. It appears as if I have protection. I don't know about the rest of you. Can you defend yourselves?
He just laughs and walks away. I'm gonna go find an aisle to walk down.
I'm sure that won't be necessary.
I'll go down an aisle.
Are you taking a different aisle to Bobcat?
No, I will follow along with Bobcat, sort of,
Okay.
silently cursing to myself.
All right. And Pepper, you see basically the same thing, but from the opposite end of the warehouse as you peek through the window. An incredibly clean, immaculate, enormous space filled with these bland, unlabeled wooden crates. You probably can just about make out the sound of voices distantly, and you can't see anyone, but you can just about hear them. Now, everyone who is starting to make their way into the warehouse, I would like you to make a perception check for me.
Ugh.
Gladly.
Before
Perception
Pepper
is my worst.
I'm decent.
It should be 13 because I've got a -2.
Okay, cool. I'll remember that. Ooh, 21. Damascus, damn.
Although, good roll.
Looks like Bobcat and I just are not paying attention at all.
No,
Hey.
you're probably... I don't know what's distracting you, perhaps, but maybe your recent exchange.
I'm grumbling at him, to be sure.
I'm annoyed because he
armor on.
doesn't. He doesn't think I can protect myself, and he's annoyed because I'm an asshole.
That's fair. Pepper, did you roll a check as well, or am I just not seeing it?
Nope. Pepper, before she goes in through the window, wants to check around the window and the window frame itself for any signs of a trap that has been sprung or may still be active.
Okay, that would probably be. You can choose investigation or arcana.
Ooh.
Wow. Well, they're the same. So let's see
no.
what happens with investigation again. Oh, much better. That's a
Ooh,
19.
That's good. Okay, so you go over this window with a fine-toothed comb, and you do pick up, despite the fact that a lot of dust was thrown up in the actual blast, there does look like an area where fingers might have moved this window aside before you came here. And indeed, with that roll, since it's a very good one, you almost pick up this minute shimmering quality to the air around you. The feeling is, I mean, you've seen magic before. You've seen people using spells and magic, and this almost feels like a some sort of ward that has been broken, and this is like the residue, the fallout from some sort of spell.
So, given her background as a rogue and years of experience with these types of things, would she begin to suspect that maybe that's what caused the explosion, was the breaking of the ward?
Let's just have a straight intelligence check.
Okay. And we're back to bad rolls.
That's unfortunate. At this point, you're not sure. What I will say is, since you rolled quite well last time on your last investigation check, the way the dust is thrown up looks as if this wasn't a central point.
Okay. Well, knowing that the ward is already broken, not seeing anything that looks like a trap or another trap that's going to spring, she's going to go ahead and slip on through the window. And yeah, I'll be right back, Oscar. Good boy. And then
he
she
sits
goes
back on his haunches, and you hear him go.
And
His
she has
claws
got
above
her.
the wall.
She's got her short bow out and is. She doesn't have an arrow knocked, but the quiver's at the ready.
Right. Okay, then. I would like you to also make a perception check whilst I get back to the rest of the party. Right, so Damascus did good. Bobcat sadly did not. Okay, so
That's a 12 for
Damascus.
Pepper.
Awesome. Okay. As you're walking up these corridors, which all of them seem to be identical, and you can kind of see the shadows flickering in the adjacent corridors of your companions walking along, so you don't feel isolated even if you're on your own in one of these thoroughfares. You do, however, notice what seem to be footprints in what's left of the dust, just ever so faintly. And they are heading in the same direction that you are.
Do they look roughly like human shaped and sized or humanoid?
Yeah, they look about the print that a human boot would make.
Okay. Interesting.
Bobcat, you appear to be the type that is skilled in tracking and hunting. Do you think you can do that in a more urban environment?
Let me see.
Roll survival.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that survival? Okay. Let's do it. But yes, I do think I can handle that.
You do indeed. You start following these footprints, and they lead you deeper into the warehouse. Indeed, they seem to crisscross quite a lot, and you find yourself snaking between these corridors. and the rest of you can probably see between the corridors, or when you come out into the more open areas which kind of join T-junctions and that sort of thing between these lines between these crates, you can probably see this the bobcat followed closely behind by Peerless, making this very strange path through the corridors.
Is the rogue? I'm sorry, not the rogue. Is the older gentleman following us, Padiah? I don't know his name yet. But,
I was actually thinking I was gonna go to another corridor with our new Dragonborn acquaintance, but didn't quite come out.
Right, so let's go with the two of you then. So Damascus and Padiah, you're making your way down another of these corridors, and it seems reasonably undisturbed here. But with Damascus's very good roll, and where's Padiah? Padiah. Yours was very good as well, actually. Yeah, that's really good.
There's some perceptive fellows.
Perceptive indeed. Whilst you do not find any sign of footprints, you are able to see, now you're definitely getting closer to the center point of the blast. The angle at which the dust has been propelled outwards kind of gives you an idea roughly of where the center point might have been, which allows you to follow towards it as the others are following the footprints. And indeed, all of you are making your way slowly closer to the side of the warehouse where Pepper is working their way through these corridors. Pepper, you haven't quite found anything just yet, but you can hear the footsteps of the others getting closer to you.
So she has no idea if these are friend or foe. So
you can
she's going.
You can hear the voices. You can probably from this distance you can recognize the voices as those who were in the shop before.
Okay. Again, but she doesn't. She knows that they were in the store before. Not sure what the setup is, so she's going to go ahead and just kind of hide and watch and see what's going on first.
Okay. All right. So, well, if you're watching and waiting, I'd like you to roll a perception check. Bobcat, as you are tracking these prints, you are making your way further and further into this room, and indeed you are getting closer and closer towards Pepper, and I would like you to roll a perception check just to see if you spot her. Okay. Pepper, if you also roll stealth just to see contested what happens here.
Well, let's hope it's
Can I help her to give her advantage?
Yeah, if you're also keeping your eye out.
Dirty 20.
You're getting pretty good rolls.
Oh, RNG just hates me today. Oh, thanks, Fantasy Grounds. Appreciate it.
So, as Peerless and Bobcat are making their way down, maybe it's a tuft of bright red curly hair that you spot. But Bobcat, you make out the shape of the small gnome kind of huddled up against some of these crates.
Okay, and I can kind of tell it's a gnome.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, I know that Pepper was hiding herself from Marcello at the start. Was she making herself a little more hidden from the rest of the people in the shop as well?
Yeah, she was trying to she was not trying to draw attention to herself. But again, she's also wearing an oversized white shirt. She has bright red curly hair. She does not exactly blend in to most of her surroundings.
That's fair.
And she had a giant mastiff with her, which Bobcat definitely would have noticed. So I feel like he probably would have seen her. And if he's seeing the white shirt in the shadows kind of sticking out with the curly red hair, I'm just gonna kind of, he's not had a ton of experience with gnomes. They don't come to there haven't been a ton of like gnome school children that came by the zoo for the outreach program or anything. So he's kind of like knelt down a little bit, almost like he would to a scared creature. And he was like, "Hey there, what are you doing back there in the corner, little one?"
For Dyer and Damascus, you can hear all of this as you're kind of zeroing in. And in fact, you are actually walking towards the group at this point.
Oh, I don't know.
Should
What are
we,
you doing here, tall one?
I'm trying to figure out what the hell just, blew up in here is all.
Yeah, me too, actually. Yeah.
Wait.
Did you
How
find
do we
anything?
not know that you are not one of these thieves that have broken in here? Bobcat, you seem to trust this small gnome rather immediately.
No.
You wanna search
she
me,
was
baby?
she was in the shop with us when it happened, so I just assumed she didn't set it off.
She was. I thought
And,
that was a child.
No, she was the one with
Yeah,
the
I
big
get that a
dog.
lot. See, if I was robbing this place, if that had been me, I wouldn't still be here.
What am I doing here?
You know, kind of makes sense. If you're gonna rob
Can
a
I-
place,
Or you could be trying to trick us.
Can I loom up behind everyone and just stare at the rogue we've just met, and intimidate
Pepper.
them?
An enormous Goliath rogue is Goliath rogue. An enormous Goliath barbarian is staring you down. Anka, could you please roll an intimidation check?
considering Pepper's best friend is a Goliath rogue,
That's
I
true.
don't know that you'd be.
Barbarian.
I think you can roll a wisdom save with advantage because you have a Goliath rogue as your bestie.
Which is a real thing we talked about in our session 0.
15.
Okay.
Do I roll something to as well?
Yeah, if you roll an intimidation check, so if you roll d20 plus your intimidation
Plus, it'd be D20 plus 2.
sounds about right.
Also, proficiency, so
Plus 4 then.
Yeah, plus 4 altogether.
how do I add plus 4 to that?
Just do the roll and then just add it and let me know. It's probably easiest to do it that way.
14 it says on the dice, I think.
Okay.
So
I'm not
19.
I'm not seeing your dice. I don't know where you're rolling them at.
Not right in the right place, I think. Try again.
Gotta roll it in the
there's-
box.
There we go.
Okay,
I'm
so total
running
of
it on the
11.
Yeah. Never mind then.
So maybe it's because you have known a few Goliaths in your time, Pepper, but whilst this one is huge and scantily clad and has a battle axe, you're dealing with it okay. It's not wigging you out too much.
Hey,
Yeah, that,
how you doing?
excellent. Who is this?
Who are you?
In the silence, Padiah's gonna walk out and be like, well, I'm Padiah. Why don't we all get to know each other just a little bit? If that sounds fine for everybody, alright?
Good.
I
good.
was just entreated by our Marcelo friend who runs the place to help investigate what happened with that explosion, and I know at least 4 of these people, who I do not all know the names of yet, were done similarly. I gesture at the gnome. So why don't you start with introducing why you're here and who you are?
Well, you can call me Pepper. And I'm here because during explosions and rumbling things, being inside the buildings is generally not the safest place to be. So I went outside of the building towards where I thought it came from, saw a broken window, checked it out. By the way, there's a busted magical ward on the window, and decided to come on through, see what was going on in here.
Can I roll insight?
Yes, you can indeed. Go for it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, you're not really getting a. I mean, this individual looks very roguish. They could be telling the truth. They could be lying blind to you.
Well, hey, Pepper, I'm Bobcat Johnson. Pleasure to meet you. Wonderful to have you here. Listen, what did you find? You said broken window and a broken ward?
Yeah, broken window had a magical ward on it that's been busted.
A point of order. I think we
Did
were
you find
going
any
to
footprints
finish
or anything like that?
introducing
No, just a
each other.
handprint. But
No.
oh,
Yeah, I agree with the fancy fellow here. We might want to know each other's names.
Thank you.
I already
My
said
name
I'm
is
Bobcat
Fearless.
Johnson, everybody. Nice to meet you.
We all know Bobcat. My name is Peerless of House Amaranth. Pleasure to meet you. So you're Pepper, you're of course Bobcat, and Padiah. What about
Yes,
you?
Padiah.
I point to the Dragonborn, and you. I point to the big Goliath.
Okay.
I am Damascus of the Smith's Guild.
A pleasure. Now that we're all
Likewise.
named, what is it that you found over here, Pepper? Anything of any
a
interest?
broken window and a busted magical ward.
But why are you inside now?
Because there was a broken
you wanted to be
window and a
outside.
busted magical ward.
No, I mean, did you find any traps you followed, or you just came inside?
Well,
Tracks?
there was an
Tracks.
explosion and a busted window and a busted magical ward.
I like you, Pepper. I found
So
some
if I'm-
footprints.
Oh, you did?
I did. Everybody wanted to introduce themselves, didn't want to learn about footprints. I found some footprints. We followed them around for a bit. They're a bit winding for some reason. They're like human-shaped in size. I don't know what it
Bobcat,
means.
you do see they do continue. They carry on from where you're currently standing, where you found Pepper.
Oh, and they go
There were
that way.
handprints
I
on the
think we should
window.
follow them.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. There are handprints on the window, by the way. Or around the window. Because there's nothing much of the window left, except the frame.
Was the glass on the inside of the building or on the outside?
You know? Didn't really notice.
Well, I'm curious if someone broke in or something broke out.
Do you remember if you heard a crunch crunch on the feet when you stepped up to the window, or when you after you went through it?
Curiously, Pepper, when you think about it, the glass wasn't broken.
I mean, there was no broken glass. It was just like the window was broken, had to lift it up and climb through.
This explosion thing that happened, this kaboom, doesn't seem to be following a lot of the rules of explosions.
Yeah, you'd expect there to be fire and stuff.
And
I'm telling you,
just
it's not
dirt
natural,
straight.
man.
Let us proceed further.
Magic.
Bobcat, this is your bailiwick. Show us where these footsteps lead. And can you tell, is this a man, a woman, gnome?
I don't know what those words mean, man, but we're gonna follow the footprints. Yeah. And I just start walking.
If you
I
could
would
roll
just-
me another survival check, and if anyone else would like to help, you'll get advantage.
I look at
I'll help.
Padiah and I go, I thought it was the old elf's warehouse,
Yeah.
not her bailiwick. Their bailiwick.
I think it may have been a bit of an expression.
Right. Okay, fancy talk. Got it.
With an 18,
Fancy
you...
talk for a fancy boy.
It's a fancy word. You quite clearly see where these footprints are leading. Now you've kind of you picked up the scent, as it were. They're quite easy to follow. And you turn a few more corners and they stop. But that's not what catches your eye. In fact, you probably wouldn't have even noticed the fact that the footsteps really stop, because in front of you is a single crate that seems to have been pulled off of the shelving units that are arranged holding these crates, and it is splintered apart, and there is sawdust and fragments of broken wood just scattered about the area. Again, none of the rest of the crates seem to be harmed in any way, but this one has been completely blasted apart. And Pepper, could you please roll me a perception check?
Okay. I know nothing.
You've had the worst
You're
luck.
not quite. Maybe you're at this point. You're stuck behind Padiah or something because you can't quite see from where you're standing.
Can
Too many
Padiah make
legs
a
in the way.
perception check?
Yeah, if you're moving closer, you can go ahead and actually, if you're intentionally moving closer to look, make investigation checks, and this can include you, Pepper. So I wondered if you might catch something.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm really closer as well, but
Ooh.
+1.
No. I've had my one good roll today.
2.
I have a feeling I may have noticed something.
Maybe you did. Man, what's with these rolls, guys? There's so many ones.
Ah, it's terrible.
Too many
Uncut and
cooks in the
Bobcat,
kitchen.
you both kind of step forward to have a look and end up just bumping into each other and having to recollect yourselves for a moment. You're not
right.
quite sure how that happened. Padiah, maybe you've just got an eye for this, but you spot a sliver of... Firstly, you spot a sliver of dark blue nestled amongst the sawdust and splinters, and then you also see like a glint as if something metallic is also there.
I'm gonna take off my hat and fan the sawdust away without touching it.
Okay, so as the sawdust is fanned away, the bluish-green object is nearly also fanned away because it seems to be very lightweight. In fact, the bluish-green colours belong to what appears to be a tarot card of some kind, tucked inside just under the lip of a plain hardwood box which is lying open, and this card was just peeking out of it. It's longer than a usual playing card, which is why it kind of screams tarot to you, and the back has been patterned by these rings and arcs of bright glimmering gold leaf on a bluish-green background. As you fan away the sawdust and continue making your way across, the glimmering gold comes from a pair of pale golden metal bracelets, which look a little bit small to be worn as bracelets perhaps, and very, very simple in design, and they're also just kind of lying there in what remains of the crate.
I'll hazard picking up the deck of cards. See if I
Careful,
die.
man.
I'm
Alright,
doing it very
as you-
cautiously and slowly. So if someone wants to yell at me, now's your chance.
Would you like some help looking for traps with that? I mean, that could be a trap. You know that, right?
I mean, I think got a good eye for these things.
All right.
So as you pick up the card in its little box, you realize that there is only one single card here. It looks like it was part of a set because this box has clearly been carved to hold a full deck of cards, but there is just the one that you can see. And as you turn it over in your hand, firstly, nothing happens to you as you touch it. Nothing strikes you. There's no sudden, terrible surprise.
That's a really important detail to me.
Yeah. The front of the card features a single figure standing in what looks to be a beautifully illustrated library, pointing a golden telescope out of an open window to a starry night sky. In front of the figure lies a gilded table, upon which lies a heavy-looking book. The figure themselves is androgynous, with dark skin and dressed in exquisite robes of sky blue and green and gold. A complicated and captivatingly beautiful script spells out what seems to be some word at the base of the card, but you can't seem to read what these characters say. You're not sure what language this is.
Okay.
And the rest of you can see him kind of handling this object.
I can speak giant. Is it giant?
It is not giant. You don't recognize it.
I will
Does
continue to
Bob
keep
get?
an eye out.
As you peek over, you see the card and you see the two rings, and you don't seem to be able to read the writing.
Dang it.
I'll take a look. I know Celestial.
You look, but these characters, they're just not. You don't recognize what they might be saying.
Pepper is looking at the 2 gold bracelets, picking them up.
Okay, so as Pepper picks up the bracelets, you feel a warmth in your hand. And they are very shiny. These are completely untarnished, as if they've just been forged. And they are beautiful in a very simple way. There aren't any kind of words, there's no runes on them. However, they are decorated with these hoops and arcs and spirals in a very similar style to the back of the card that's currently in Padiah's hands. And just as you're thinking this, there is a sudden flash of gold, and as you look, the ring is now snugly around your wrist.
That is not good.
I'm going to take a big step back.
No, that is not good. Not at all.
I
I'll
pick
take
up the other
2
one.
steps back.
I pick up the other one.
The other one is identical.
There are two.
Yeah, there are two.
Gold
The
rings.
other one looks completely identical. You don't get the warmth of this one. In fact, it doesn't really seem to do anything. It just sits there in your hand. However, Bobcat, you see as Pepper lifts this ring, and suddenly you get the feeling you're instantly reminded of the vial that you lost that was taken from you.
Okay. I want to kind of reach out. Let me see your hand for a second. I'm not gonna take it. I don't want your ring.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And she Pepper puts the ring in the hand that's already got a bracelet on it and holds out her hand.
Can I examine it and just see, like, does it have any inscriptions or vines or like viney shapes in it or anything like that?
Again, it has these kind of arcing loops that they're kind of like interlinking circles. Do you touch it?
Yeah, I probably would have, because I would have like held her hand and tried to shift it a little bit to spin it to see the rest of the design.
So as you touch it, again, there is this faint humming warmth, and it's a very inviting, welcoming warmth. And again, you get that sense of familiarity with the vial that you remember. And as you're thinking this, again, there is this flicker and flash of gold, and as you recollect your thoughts, the ring has adapted perfectly to the size of your wrist and is snugly looped around it.
Oh.
So, bracelets.
What the?
I guess we're
Okay.
besties now.
All right. I mean,
I might be able to
What?
tell you what these are.
Sure. She holds up her wrist.
So I will put my hand on the bracelet on her wrist and cast Identify.
Beautiful. All right. So, remind me, what exactly, specifically, does Identify tell you about a particular object?
Pretty much everything.
Yeah, it's pretty much
If
the
it's a
whole
magic
rule,
item.
isn't it? It's better than Detect Magic. Okay. So, you pass your hands over the ring, and as you touch it, you don't feel a warmth. And there's no movement. You do see these beautiful concentric circles as they weave in and out of each other. And you get the impression there is a ping of magic from this thing. It's subtle. And it's nothing overly obtrusive or strong. This is no like earth-shattering magic legendary artifact of power. You do get the sensation that it allows the wearer to read some specific form of cipher. And you also get this feeling that
Interesting.
it would take an incredible amount of magic power, something like a wish spell, to remove this ring from a person's wrist once it has formed around it.
Oh, damn.
Well, I hope you like these because you're
it's gorgeous.
stuck with them.
Okay. I've been stuck with worse.
But it should help you to read something very specific.
Oh, like the filigree on this card?
yeah, give me that card.
Perhaps. The design is very
I was-
similar.
just hold it out and so you can see the bottom edge where it is, just by your face.
So Bobcat
Okay.
and Pepper, as you look at the card, you can see now that those glyphs at the very base, they swirl and wind together in your mind, and you are able to make sense of the word, and it says, the Seeker.
Ooh.
I take it you're able to read it now.
Yeah.
says the
Sorry,
seeker.
you audibly heard me go, ooh.
Yeah.
Pepper goes, seeker. Curator.
Seeker.
Yeah, it's what it. Some people
Yeah,
use
you know-
cards like these to tell fortunes with, and it has a meaning. It's a con, kind of, sort of.
Someone has
meaning.
left a calling card.
Speaking of the curator, where did that guy go?
Yes, we
I
are
mean,
supposed to be
this is
looking
all
for
pretty
clues.
big.
As you're saying that, you hear footsteps behind you, and a voice calls out, Did I hear a summoning? Was that someone calling me? Have you found
Yeah.
something?
Hey.
Oh, that's a
we
cool
did.
This is my establishment. I tend to know where people are at any given time. It looks like you have found something, and he immediately steps over to join you and looks at the detritus and the mess on the ground.
Yeah. So this box was open.
I can see. Yes, that's an open box.
Yeah. Do you know what was in it?
I do. I know all of the items. I have catalogued here. If you would... and he reaches down and picks up the little box that the card came in. That's if Padai is not currently holding it, if he's just holding it.
I was thinking I picked up that too.
Okay,
but
in
if
that
he-
case, there's nothing else
if,
left.
If he reaches for it, I'll hand it over.
Oh, thank you very kindly. This box has no particular power of its own. It's it's still a precious artifact, though. If you would all if you would come with me, let's perhaps reconvene in the main shop front. It's a bit more pleasant there. Perhaps I can answer some questions.
What about the thieves, sir? I'm sure that. Have you found them? There are footprints here.
Yes. Well, if this is the item they came for, I'm afraid they're probably long gone by now. There is no point attempting to run after them quite yet. We have more serious matters to discuss.
Yeah. By the way, the ward on the window is broken.
That makes some sense. Now I understand I would otherwise have received some form of alarm. Still, that must be quite an adept mage to break my wards. I will be looking into that for sure. If you would please come with me. And he starts to lead you back towards the shop.
Yeah. Padaya will walk after him.
Yeah, I'll follow him in. And as soon as we get out to the front of the shop, I go right out the front door and call for Oscar.
Immediately, the mastiff bounds around the corner with his tail just going like crazy.
On the way towards the
bounces
front of the
on.
shop. On the way towards the front of the shop, I was going to ask. So, what was the item in that crate?
So, that particular item, you understand, is a particularly powerful and enigmatic relic I picked up some time ago. You must understand the most interesting antiques I do not display on public view, of course. This is somewhat of an archive for unknown items that are passed to me by various individuals, and I am a caretaker for such items, you must understand. This particular object, well, most of it is missing. It seems the rest of the deck has been scattered, not surprising, of course. As soon as it is disturbed from its resting place and the deck is split, the cards will try and find their way home. Of course, as you can see, the only card that remains, and he gestures to the Seeker card, well, the only card that remains is the card of the material plane. As you might be able to tell, it represents the curiosity and inquisitiveness of the material plane, its ability to adapt. And, well, because it was already on its own plane, it had nowhere to go. It simply stayed behind. When the deck is disturbed, its brothers and sisters will immediately try and return to where they come from. You see, and as you're walking back to the shop front, he continues to explain. Each of the cards is imbued with a certain amount of magical power from its plane of origin. You see, there are many. There's a whole deck of the things. The good news is that our thief will have been able to have taken at most 2 or 3 cards before the rest will have scattered. It is, as I'm sure you guessed, quite an explosive separation when the deck is broken. So
The
most
bang.
likely they have... Yes, precisely. I was not sure that was what it was until I saw this was the item that had been taken. But it seems that our thief is now in possession of a few of these cards at most. And that means they have the powers and abilities that comes with such a thing. And he holds open the door for you as you reach the end of the warehouse.
Pepper has made sure that her sleeves are covering the gold band on her wrist.
Oh, well, Bobcat looks at me. What is this then? What does this do?
And Pepper's just like sneaking right on out past. It's like, la 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 la.
Can I grab Pepper by the nape of the neck and make sure that they are basically on my shoulder? Because they are small enough to do so.
I mean, that's
Oh,
going to
you
be
can try.
contested. That's a contested dexterity check, I'm afraid.
Can I use athletics to counter that? To, like...
It's going to be dexterity because she's hard to grab.
Okay.
No, she's not.
Not right now.
I feel like
not
Oscar
good at
would
anything
attack
at this
him.
So you are able to grab Pepper by her collar and hold her up if you wish.
I'm not holding her, I'm putting her on my shoulder, because she's quite a small character, isn't she? And I'm
Well,
You
quite...
now have an
if-
excellent view, Pepper.
And as soon as he lets go of her, she slides right on off. And she's like, Oscar!
Landing
Anchor,
perfectly on Oscar's
immediately,
back.
a very large dog bounds up to you and puts his paws on, I guess it would probably be your upper thigh given your height, and just starts barking in your face.
Pay on the
Pepper
head very
jumps up.
gently.
Roll
Pepper
animal handling
slides
for
up
me.
onto Oscar. Yeah. Good boy.
Let's
That's
all
a good
calm
boy.
down here.
The
She
dog
punches the
Bobcat's
Goliath
gonna-
in the kneecap.
The dog doesn't seem to trust you, Anka, but looks to Pepper, and Pepper doesn't seem distressed, so seems to calm a little bit. Are you all back in the main area of the shop?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So Markello gives a long sigh as he looks around at all of you, and his gaze settles on Bobcat with a frown of interest as he pushes his glasses up his nose. Now, see, this is very curious. It is not often that the deck chooses a champion, but it seems that exactly that has happened. The rings that you wear, and you as well. And he motions to Pepper, even though he hasn't really looked at you, but just seems to clock you somehow. The rings. The unfortunate side of that is, well, they are going to remain on your person until the deck has been regathered and all of the cards have been returned to their resting place. And he holds forwards the box at this. Now, if they remain separated for too long, the rings do have a unfortunate habit of, well, they tend to tighten around the wrist of the wearer, just, to encourage them to continue with their newfound duty. And I'm afraid, short of cutting off the hand, you won't be removing them anytime soon.
Cursed. I knew it. I knew it.
Okay.
So if we don't go after the cards, the ring squeezes.
Yes, squeezes is a good way to put it. Yes, that sounds about right. Squeezes. That's a nice term.
Listen, I don't know about this. I got things to do. I gotta get back to the zoo. No one else is there to take care of him. How do I get it? Just take it. Take it off. Do magic.
Curator.
There's nothing I can
Curator,
do regarding the ring.
How long until
Yes,
she
right?
dies? If she
Oh.
doesn't follow the cards, how long until he dies?
Oh, he won't die per se. He might lose a hand, but he won't die.
Yes, hopefully.
I mean, of course, you have to take into account that certain sepsis can occur with the loss of a limb, which can lead to death, especially if not properly treated.
We can take care of that.
Exactly. Now, I don't know if you had time to look at this properly, and he holds his hand out to you, Padiah, and motions towards the card in your possession. Thank you kindly. And he turns it towards you. And as you look at the card, you actually notice that the image has changed. The individual who was looking out the window with the telescope has changed position. They are now standing in the center of the card, and they're looking out at you from the card with their hands outstretched, holding a book open. The book that was on the table when you last looked at the card. In the book is a beautiful and incredibly detailed illustration, given the scale of the card, but you are able to make out the details. And it looks like a exquisitely multicolored praying mantis or some other exotic insect in many different colors. And beneath the insect are some more of those glyphs which only Bobcat and Pepper are able to read. And the word spells out spring.
So it doesn't say the seeker anymore, it says spring now?
Well, the seeker is still at the very bottom of the card. Okay. Spring is written in this book.
Got it, okay. Does Bobcat see this?
Yeah.
Okay. I think, first of all, he's gonna comment on the praying mantis creature. It's not, I don't know what, I've not seen one of those before. What is that? I know every species. I know every species of insect in Waterdeep. I've never seen that before.
That's a bug.
Yeah. Yes,
probably called
it is a bug. Well noticed. I'm pleased you picked up on that. It is a bug.
I've seen a lot of bugs.
Haven't we all? It is a bug. Indeed, as you say, you've seen every insect in Waterdeep. Well, this insect is not of Waterdeep. This spring is the card of the Feywild. The Feywild, you understand, you can access this... Okay, no, let's backtrack a little bit. How much do you, ladies and gentlemen and my friends, how much do you know about the planes of existence?
I've been in Waterdeep my whole life. I don't know much.
I used to study a fair number back when life was a little more comfortable. I know bits, pieces.
Excellent.
I was absent that day during the academy. I don't know much about that.
What's a plane?
Right, okay, well, let's start at the top. Now, look at the design of the card. You see these many circles that interlock. Imagine that those are countries almost, and they overlap. You can travel between them. Well, our world is very much like that. There are many places that you can only get to with very specific means of travel. Indeed, sometimes they are mirror images of the world we see around us, but there are subtle differences. Well, think about it this way. When you die...
A world filled with beer.
Presumably, there might well be one of those. But when you die... I don't know what your particular practice is, but it is mostly accepted that one's soul leaves the material plane, the world that we know around us, and is either taken to the halls of the gods, or it is taken to the halls of the Raven Queen. There are various teachings. Each of these places is its own world, its own realm, a plane, you understand. And the Feywild is one of these. It is where a lot of creatures, the Eladrin, come from the Feywild. Padiah, it sounds like you might have had some background knowledge in this. The Feywild is one of these places.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sure I know a ton, but I know that there are a few planes that are like mirrors to ours, like the Feywild, and what was that shadowy place called?
Well, I'm afraid there are a few shadowy ones. They're not all sunshine and roses. However, the Feywild...
Dark Ward.
Well, yes, that is quite a shadowy place. Let's not get into my choice of real estate right now. The Feywild is a place of untamed nature and wilderness. It is wild as the creatures and peoples that live there. It is fabled to be a beautiful, if enchanting place. Now, and he points to the card. there are also many ways to get to the Feywild. It is as fluctuating and as unpredictable as the plane itself, you must understand. And this seems to suggest that the card for the Feywild didn't take long to find a weak point in the veil that separates the planes of reality. Now, because the Feywild is a similar, in some ways it is seen as a mirror to our plane. It is like a wilder, more magical place than where we live. However, because of this mirror nature, there can be weak points between the realities, points where you can just about punch through the veil and make it through unscathed to the other side. Now, this is exactly what the card has done.
Hang on, Mr. Curator.
Yes?
Pepper's just kind of looking at him. She's got her hands on her hips. So you're saying we can't take a boat?
Oh, you don't need to take a boat. No, you don't need to take a boat. All you need, you can simply
what about
walk
the
into the
newfangled
Feywild.
airships? Those newfangled airships?
No. You misunderstand. With the cards, all you need to do is walk straight there. This is what they do. Each card possesses a magic of a different plane, and with that magic, it allows you to travel between them. But the cards themselves, they are temperamental, especially when they're separated from the main deck. And sometimes
So we just
they
start
seek
walking
to
in.
return.
We just start walking and like we're there?
Well, not quite. You've got to find where it's punched through, where the card has got to, which trust me, it won't be that difficult to do. Now, this card, and he picks up the seeker again, the magic instilled in this card will tell you the nearest card to where you are at this current point, which is why it is the seeker is telling you right now the spring card is closest to where you are. So all you have to do is step outside, do a little searching around, and most likely people love to spread gossip and rumors in the city. You will certainly find a lead as to where this errant card has got to. And then you'll have one, and then you'll be well on your way to finding the others, and you won't lose your hands.
So what you're saying is someone who has lots of things to do and animals to take care of, now have to spend gods know how long chasing down playing cards?
That's a certain way of putting it, yes. Well, think about it this way. If you don't, there will be portals opening up all over the prime material plane where all sorts of creatures, elemental beasts, shadow beings, the undead perhaps, will be making their way through into the material plane until the door is closed. And these could well be creatures the like of which you've never seen or heard of before.
Yeah.
How many
no.
cards are
Is
there?
it a better security system?
I do have a very adept security system, which is why I am so perturbed that someone was able to break through it, and I will be investigating myself into who that was, I assure you.
Anka had a very good question. Yes, he was asking how many cards there are.
There are, well, the creator of the deck was attempting to create a card for every plane in existence. He realized some way into his task that the planes themselves are infinite. There are as many realities as can be perceived and beyond. There is no way to number all of them. However, he did succeed in constructing, as far as I am aware, and at this he rummages around in a bookshelf behind the actual desk, and as you watch, he seems to push books to the side, and they disappear into the walls of the bookshelf, almost as if more are springing out of nowhere. And after a few minutes of this rummaging, he pulls out a heavy hardback book and flicks through it a few pages. Let's see. Yes, according to my ledgers, there are 21 of these cards.
And how many are missing?
We already have one here, so 20 remaining to be accounted for, potentially 2 or 3 in the hands of whoever our thief is.
Isn't there something like the Order of Magisters or something like that? Something wizards and like. To be honest, I know very little about magic. I'm more excelled at swordplay. But isn't there someone of a more magical bent that might be better at tracking down these magical cards?
Perhaps, but think about it this way. The Order of Magisters... the Order of Magisters sponsors my venture. They are often my clients quite regularly. Think of it as if this place, this establishment, is the dumping ground for all sorts of undesired magical items. They are kept safe here and out of public knowledge to the best of mine and the council's ability. In terms of actually tracking down these cards, the ones best equipped to do this are, and he motions to Bobcat and Pepper. The rings have chosen you. Unfortunately, they will not choose a new host unless you either die or lop off your hands. Now, if you would like to make the Order of Magisters aware of your current predicament, I'm sure they would be more than happy to relieve you of your burden. And he looks at your hands as he said this.
Nah, I am not very comfortable leaving the fate of my hand in the hands of someone else. So I think I'm stuck with this gig.
Kind of need both of them.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
More importantly, I believe the cards have chosen you for a reason. There must be something they see in you. I can't profess to see it yet myself. Perhaps you can prove otherwise. However, there must be something you can bring to the table. They seem to believe that you will be able to gather them. At least the Seeker seems to think so. Otherwise, they wouldn't have shown you the way to go.
Yeah, about that. So I got a proposition for you. If I'm going to help you out, you're going to help me out because I got I got 7 kids that need work. So you hire my
kids.
kids.
You're old enough.
They're not all mine. Yeah, so they need jobs. So you hire the kids to work, and I'll help you out. You know, it's kind of a, what do they call it? Wash my back, I'll wash yours.
All right, I'll tell you what. I will accept that deal. I can.
And Oscar comes with me.
That's fine. You can take your dog with you. I have no qualms about that. I can offer some employment for these children. I don't have much in the way of room and board. I might have some.
They're fine.
You sure?
Yeah, no, they got a place to stay. They just, they need jobs. And if you have any trouble, just, tell one of them to go get Frankie, and he'll handle it if I'm not here.
Go get Frankie. All right, I think I've got it. Some interns will spice the place up a little bit anyway. Thank you. And what about you, Bobcat Johnson?
Yeah. Well, I kind of feel like my payment is not having my hand squeezed off, but man, you really gotta keep an eye out for that vial for me. That's all I'm asking. Just if you could ask around a little bit, see what you can do.
I give you my word. If I come across the vial, even if it is for sale somewhere, I will purchase it, and you can consider it yours.
All right. I guess we're good. Bobcat's defeated. So sad.
You'll be fine. I'm sure you'll have them back here in no time at all.
Mistress
we're getting
Pepper.
paid for this, right? What?
Sorry, what was that?
Pardon me. Go right ahead, Mistress Pepper.
We're getting paid for this, right, Bobcat and I? I mean, we're doing you a favor.
Make a persuasion check. Oh, best roll of the game from you. Oh, wow.
Just what I needed.
I tell you what, I'll see if I can pull some strings in the Order of Magisters and see about having a healthy payment arranged for, yes, exactly, a stipend arranged for completing this task, and indeed for the rest of you, as long as you remain involved in this venture as well.
Well,
Hey,
Mr.
Pepper.
Pepper. Oh, I'm sorry. Go right ahead.
Oh, you're good. It's fine. You think a couple of those kids might want to gig at the zoo? Because I'm obviously going to be on the road for a while. I need someone to look after the...
Maybe? I mean, really, the only kind of experience with animals they have are the wharf rats, but, you know, I mean, they're pretty good at clobbering them, keeping them off the...
That's good. I mean, most of these are just rescues anyway, so as long as they can keep them from killing each other, it's fine. Feed them.
And the kids will keep each other from killing each other, too, so, yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, fancy pants.
Good.
And I assume gold is acceptable for the rest of you?
What about silverware?
I suppose I can look at giving you a hefty discount for the silverware in question. Is that acceptable?
In that case, Mistress Pepper and Master Bobcat, please allow me to accompany you to wherever it is that you need to go to return these. I shall endeavor to protect you against whatever foe you might face.
Absolutely. It would be a pleasure to have you, Fancy Pants.
It's Peerless.
Peerless,
Of House
right.
Amaranth.
That's what I...
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That's
Okay.
You know, if you want to engage in swordplay, you don't have to call me your mistress. I mean, unless you're married, and in which case that is going to cost you a lot of money.
What? Oh.
Welcome to episode 1.
Right. Lady Pepper.
Oh, just Pepper will do.
Yes, Pepper.
Yeah, there you
I shall
go.
accompany. And what about you, Padaya and Damascus, Anka?
Oh, come.
You have fighters. Clearly, you will need someone to heal you if there is trouble.
Hold on now.
Come in.
I am quite skilled at the blade.
Of
Don't
course
be
you
so
are.
certain I might need it.
I'm sure you will leave your foes in worse state, but accidents do happen.
One might call you Peerless.
Well, that is my name.
Never mind. We can't be having all those portals and nasty critters and monsters coming through into material plane. That'd be right there horrible. So.
It's true.
Well, I mean, it all depends when they come through. I mean, there are some places that could really use a cleaning up.
Dock ward.
Now,
As you're having this conversation,
Yeah. Problem with the dock ward?
Have you smelled it lately? You simply walk
say
through
my
the place, and the
home
bottom
smells?
of your cloak is covered with grime.
Okay, it does smell though. You gotta that's just not trying to, but it does.
I mean, what? Well, so does Mr. Fancy Pants. You don't hear me complaining of it.
as you're bickering
Yeah,
between each other, you hear a heavy clanking sound as you look up and you can see about a dozen armed guards of Waterdeep in the livery of the city dashing through the now considerable puddles that now cover the street, past the windows of the of Corellan's Curios, as where you are currently standing, and as they disappear off down one of the adjacent streets.
Pepper has kind of stepped into a shadow and put one arm behind her back, the arm with the bracelet behind her back. She's just kind of standing there, slipping into the shadow.
Well, you know, I got a feeling that what they're dashing to might be some byproduct of where we need to go. Just a theory.
When you see the guard run through, it's generally a good idea to go in the opposite direction of where they're going.
We go.
As he might call you Lady Pepper, I think this might be the exception.
I tell you what, if it is of some assistance, and Markello reaches behind the desk and brings out what looks like a couple of a few little these brooches that have the symbol of the gilded treasure chest in a pair of hands. If you take these with you, these are this is my seal. If each of you carry one, it will give you some leeway with the guard. If you say you are a acquaintance of Curator Markello and a friend of the Order of Magisters.
Thank you.
Sure.
That's
If you are
nice.
concerned about the City Watch getting in your way, I find them next to useless in matters of the arcane, but still they're useful for petty criminals, I suppose.
Pepper attaches it to Oscar's collar.
He looks
Cute.
very proud.
I'll put it on the edge of my cloak. I have quite a few friends amongst the guards. I don't think we'll have any problem.
That's very good to hear. Well, I wish you the best of luck, and I will start.
And kind of got leather wristband, so you attaches to one of that part of the leather wristband. So you just go.
Super shiny.
Just put it in my pocket.
Yeah, Bobcat's wearing it like a Boy Scout badge almost. Like real proud.
Well then, I look forward to hearing of your success. I wish you the best of luck, and I will start clearing up what remains of my warehouse.
Let us know if you find any other things that could be useful.
Of course, I will let you know post haste.
As they leave, Pepper is going to find the closest street rat. Or actually, she's going to write on the side of the wall in the alley in Thieves' Camp instructions for the kids that they're to wash their face and hands and to present themselves to the shop owner first thing in the morning for their jobs.
Before we do step out fully, can I ask will we need the box to put the cards into?
The box will be fine here as long as you bring the card back to this place and you hold on to it. Once it's reunited with the Seeker card, it will the magic present within the card will be somewhat subdued. That is another of the purposes of the Seeker card. You see, it is not imbued with terrible power itself, but it is a means to control the rest of the deck.
Why don't we bring the Seeker card with us then?
Oh,
to subdue it
absolutely.
when we find it.
And the box.
With the box.
Because
I was going to
I
suggest
don't
one
want
of
it
the
to get
chosen
crumpled.
take it, yes. And he hands the little hardwood box with the Seeker card within it out to either Pepper or Bobcat.
Bobcat will
Pepper's
take
already
it.
outside. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pepper's already outside writing on the wall.
All right, so Bobcat takes that one. Right. Well, best of luck with you then.
Right.
we'll step
See,
outside.
As Pepper sees it go off, she'll kind of get up. She'll mount up on Oscar and ride along behind him.
Padiah looks over at the wall thieves' cant and just nods to himself.
Bobcat is gonna walk up. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was to say, Markello closes the door behind you, and there's like the little tinkle of the bell as it shuts.
Okay, as we start to walk away, Bobcat is actually gonna walk up and get next to Oscar and Pepper, and like completely ignore Pepper, but he's gonna like kind of tap Oscar on the scruff and just say, "Hey, man, that's some good teamwork back there. You're a good dude." And that was.
Do I smell a shepherd druid?
Oscar seems to be mostly concentrating on it's kind of like the road ahead, very alert, kind of sniffing for any sign of strange going on. Like he can clearly tell something's up, but as you're just kind of chatting and amiably next to him, he just kind of looks at you and tilts his head slightly, like that kind of almost husky way, and then gives you like this nudge with his like very large wet nose, just kind of on the side of your face in a kind of an
Oh.
affectionate way, you think.
Okay.
It seems to be cool with anyone who's at least
So-
polite and pleasant.
Who is going to lead us to these portals, cards, things?
We gotta figure out where they are first.
Oh, we
Isn't
were
that
following
your-
the guard.
That was my suggestion.
Yeah. If that's where they are.
Lead on.
We'll find out quickly enough.
The moment
Well,
you're kind
tuned.
of after you.
I walk.
All right. Well, you head down this particular street, which seems more or less a main thoroughfare, as it were, and there are a few pubs and taverns dotted along the sides of this avenue. And indeed, you can see a few heads now poking out of some of these establishments. Outside one of them, a pair of dwarves have stepped out fully into the pouring rain and are kind of peering up the street curiously. One's kind of scratching his head, and the other's kind of watching despite the rain, which is coming down in sheets. Something definitely seems to have piqued the interest of people along this stretch.
I'm gonna kind of shout over to them and just say in Dwarvish, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, you guys have any idea what's going on over there?"
The dwarf looks at you to start with a little bit of surprise, and then breaks into this very broad grin as you start speaking the native language. Something about a plant growth spell or something came out of nowhere and smashed up a street in the North Ward. The City Watch certainly seemed a little panicked about it.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. All right, well, thanks
I
for the
don't know
information.
about any plant growth spells myself, but sounds like it's caused quite a mess.
All right, yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And I'm gonna tell them like some sort of plant overrun, some sort of plant spell overran the square up here. So I think we're definitely headed in the right direction.
Sorry, that was in. I think he's speaking Dwarvish. I'm not sure I understood any of that.
Indeed.
Yeah, no, that's why I'm telling you. There's a plant thing up there that's overrunning the streets. That's why they're all running down there. So I think we're headed in the right direction. There's some weird crap happening down the street.
There's always weird crap happening. This is water.
It's true.
Let's go figure it out.
It doesn't take you too much longer until you kind of reach the border of what's going on. About another 20 minutes or so of walking, and by this point there are people hanging around outside their houses, leaning out of windows from upper floors of town buildings, and the guard presence is certainly also heightened. In front of you, the street that stretches out is unrecognizable. Thick trees with green algae, slick bark have burst from the cobbles, branches crawling through windows and roots filling doorways and alleys. You can see ahead the canopy blocks out the dreary overcast sky before long and plunges the thoroughfare, this main road, into verdant darkness. Vines are hanging from the branches, and flowers as large as trumpets bloom in every shade imaginable. A tunnel is just about passable that leads through the undergrowth, the vines and the branches closing overhead.
Can I use nature to work out if any of the flowers, if we go near them, will they spray like stuff on it we don't really want in our faces?
Will they
roll a
murder
nature check
death
for
us?
me.
That is a +3 modifier for anything. So let me just look at the plus.
While he's doing that, is there anyone else who is reacting to this? Are the guards gathered and watching it with concern?
Yeah, there are quite a few guards around this point. The City Watch look very hesitant, but a lot of them standing guarding outside the entrance, seemingly waiting for other members of the Watch that have already been sent inside and are kind of awaiting them to return. You kind of see one of them actually jump slightly and the grip on his blade tightens as a butterfly about the size of a pigeon just slowly, kind of lazily floats past him with this really long proboscis that is kind of suspiciously sharp when a butterfly is this big. And it just disappears again into the forest.
Now that's not normal, is it? Does anyone here know anything about animals and plants?
Well,
Yeah,
it is-
yeah.
I look from Peerless to Bobcat and back to Peerless, and back to Bobcat, and then at Bobcat. He's pretty thick, isn't he?
With that roll, you definitely know that none of this is normal. None of this is native to Waterdeep, let alone like the region itself. You've never seen any of these plants before, and the insects seem abnormally large. You don't, however, get the impression that the flowers or there's nothing here that will directly try and trap or ensnare you. You can see a lot of the guards are standing close enough to most of it, whereby if it was predatory in some way, it probably would have done something already.
It's not going to hurt us, but this is not normal.
No, this is definitely not normal. This is not natural for Waterdeep. Everything about this is wrong. But if
I don't know. You're talking about this has been on Pine Street all week. Where have you been? It's the carnival. He smiles. It's the carnival, right?
All right. Yeah. Right. No. I think this is our portal, guys. We're going to the Feywild, right? I mean, everything there is weird and luscious, and according to what we were told earlier.
Yes.
Right. So straight ahead, Pepper just starts riding straight through.
So, Bobcat, you're good with plants. Are you a ranger or a druid, perhaps?
I'm going to follow the other road.
Cap.
Yeah, I mean, perhaps. I don't know if I've really been officially named, but I'm pretty close with the creatures in the area, and I've got a little sway over some of the more natural elements.
See, I didn't know that. Where did she go?
Over this way. Come on.
I'll follow
as you head towards the open tunnel of this this jungle, basically, the guards move as if to stop you, but it seems like a couple of them perhaps recognize your style of dress, Peerless. Maybe your livery. Perhaps you might be showing a little heraldry from your family, and that hesitation. They seem happy to let you pass, given that a respectable man of a respectable family seems to be leading this charge, or at least part of it.
I just smile and wave. Roger, how's the wife?
Pepper's huddled in her cloak, pointing at the badge on Oscar's collar, trying not to make eye contact with anybody.
Before the man could reply to you, you're already kind of passing, and he kind of looks up as if what's going on, but you've already gone past as you start to head into the overcast darkness of the trees. Is there anything anyone else would like to do before you head inside?
I have a bullseye lantern. Can I just light that up?
Of course. Now you have a much better source of light.
Can I go
It
to
blasts
the
out like
and just say, let nobody through?
The guards look at this Goliath with a bit of trepidation. Yes, of course. No one through. Yes, you're right. And their eyes kind of flick back to Peerless as if to say, he's with you, right?
Yeah, I'll nod and say yes. He's with us.
All right. Are you heading inside?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so you begin your trek through this tunnel of foliage and jungle. The further you move through this miniature forest, the softer the noises from the outside become. The canopy blocks the rain from reaching you, and the air is very sweet, almost dizzyingly so. You don't recognize any of these plant species, and the floor all around you is now covered with slippery roots and tangled vines that have crawled through and over the normal cobblestone floor of the main thoroughfare of the high street. After what seems like at least half an hour, maybe an hour, you've kind of lost track of time at this point, and painstakingly traversing this jungle, you see the path ahead widen. Let's see, Bobcat, could you make a perception check for me? You're a wild, druidy person.
A wild, druidy person, that's me. Yes!
Oh man,
that's
20.
I see all the
First
things.
one. First one of the
That is
campaign.
the first one of the game. It's beautiful. So you instantly check yourself just as you're stepping over what looks like a clump of vines wrapped around some rubble. And you know the city pretty well. You've lived here pretty much your whole life. And this used to be a 12-foot high, at least a foot deep wall around one of the rich merchant residences, one of their kind of town gardens. And this wall was definitely in good repair. It was well maintained, and it has just been crumbled into as if it's gone through 100 years of age, just overrun by greenery now, running to the ground.
Okay.
And you realize that you are essentially stepping into what was probably once a garden of one of the rich houses of the city. And as you step into this clearing, all of you feel a slight warmth on your faces as dappled sunlight reaches through the canopy and fills the space with a soft golden light. Although you swear you can still hear a muffled ambience of rain above you on the leaves. It's curious, but somehow this whole area seems somewhat luminous.
Guess you won't be
Okay.
needing that lantern then, Padiah.
I'll dim it for a minute, but I'm a little cautious in this unknown track.
Pepper
Guys, this
is
is
going to try and
different.
stealth. And Pepper, again, she's looking at these people who are making these statements and going like, really?
Yeah, this is
Different,
different.
you
This is not. It's not what should be here. Feels
No,
wrong.
that's for sure.
I think you may be
How
onto
about us-
something there.
You know what's funny though is you might be really stealthy, but your dog probably won't be.
Oscar knows what
Good
he's
for
doing.
hiding behind, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's gonna slip off of Oscar and start stealthing. Because
Okay,
Oscar
if you
knows
could just
what
roll
to do.
stealth for me so I can make a note.
Sure.
Will she use anchor as the
Yep.
thing he's done?
Back the other way.
You, maybe you're not used to this kind of environment with so many roots and vines coating the ground, but they almost seem to cling to your boots as you try and sneak, and you find yourself stumbling a few times and realize that you're not really being very subtle right now.
These are not cobblestones, and she's gonna she'll get back upon on Oscar. He seems to be handling it better than she does.
Oscar actually seems quite comfortable. He's looking around and his tail is wagging and doesn't seem too perturbed. And
Who
just as you
has-
kind of... Oh, sorry.
Sorry, who has the card? I know I have the box, but do I have the card as well, or does
The
Padiah
card is
still?
inside the box.
Card is inside the box. Okay.
Yeah.
Since I'm kind of realizing we're in a weird place and probably through a portal or something like that, I want to open the box and pull out the card and see if anything's changed on it.
There is a slight change. Two very
tell.
minor things you notice. Firstly, the expression on the face of the individual holding the book has become less of this just serene, impassive smile, and there is an ever such a slight frown on his face. And they are holding the book open, and instead of the image of the mantis and the word spring, there is now two words, and they read, "Be careful."
Oh, goody. Guys, the card now has a warning on it. It says, be careful. So I definitely think we're moving along the right path. Ugh.
That's,
As Bobcat,
both that's both a good sign and a very, very bad sign.
I know
As,
it's
uh,
something.
The card appears to be helping us.
Which jibes with what I was thinking. It appears that the older gentleman, he seemed to state that the cards were in some ways intelligent. That they seemed to get angry, I believe he said, or annoyed, some other word like that. But if it is intelligent, then perhaps we can also depend upon it for aid. A warning is nice.
Yeah. That's what I was hoping. I was hoping it would, like, I don't know, point like a compass, but I guess
Why
a
don't you
warning
try to
will
talk
work.
to it? Why don't you try to talk to it?
That'd be very entertaining.
Hey, card.
That too.
It has a name.
Hey, Seeker. What should we be careful of? And then I just wait to see if it says anything.
Nothing appears to change, obviously.
Nah. Yeah, it's not working.
Come
man.
now. It
was a decent shot, though.
It's a title. Let's call it The Seeker. That might work better.
Hello, the Seeker. Help.
Again, there doesn't seem to be an obvious
Nothing.
change in the card that you can pick up on.
Yeah, Pepper rolls her eyes and pulls out her bow.
This
Pepper,
is
as
why
you-
I went to study the sword. I don't understand magic very well at all. It's clear.
I just want her to do it a second time.
Is the box
Pepper.
flat on the top, or is it like
Yeah, the box is flat on the top.
Okay,
It's
I'm
very
gonna
simple.
I'm gonna hold the box in this hand, and I'm gonna set the card on top of it. I just want to see if it spins at all in any
Doesn't seem to
direction.
be spinning.
No. All right. It's not a compass,
What?
guys. Doesn't work that way.
No, so get some metal and magnetize it, put it in water, and see which way it points in the water, and we'll just ruin it along the way. It'll be great.
Okay,
Put
great.
the card away.
Yeah, I put the card back in the box.
Pepper, you're a little further into this clearing than the others, and you suddenly feel a cool breeze for just a moment. And if
She
you
starts
look up,
looking around.
you
Yeah.
catch what looks like a sliver of golden light. And as you zoom in on that, you can see almost this shimmer in the air in front of you, right in the center of this clear area.
I fold back the sleeve, and I hold up the arm with the bracelet on it, and I go, "Come here, time to go home. Let's go."
As you do so, you catch a sliver of movement, and the shimmer almost becomes what looks to be almost an invisible curtain in a way. There's this flapping, coiling, as if the edge of a curtain was being moved by a slight breeze, and in the space created by that movement, there is a bright light that shines through. And you almost get the sense of as if there was a cut through some kind of material, and this breeze was just slowly whistling through, occasionally glimmering with light.
Did it remind me of the shimmer from the Broken Arcane Ward? That there's a magical type.
Yeah, similar to that, and it's almost as if someone has pulled a veil across in front of you.
Yeah, I think we got to keep going this way. And she's like, "Come on, Oscar, let's go." She'll kind of nudge him and head right through it.
So as the rest of you are talking, you look up and you see that Pepper disappears.
Where did the gnome go?
Which direction did she go in?
Master Bobcat, can you track her?
I mean, as far as
Of
you
course
saw,
I can
Bobcat,
give it
she
a
just
shot.
stepped into space and was gone.
And was she very far up ahead or just a few feet
No.
away from us?
Probably just about 6 feet away from you in the middle of this open area.
I'm just gonna walk towards it.
Yeah.
I'll
that's
follow
what I was
along.
going to do too. Yeah. Let's all
One
die
by
together.
one, you each vanish from sight. What about Anka and Damascus, the only two left?
I will activate my Blessing of the Forge on my mace and follow.
I'll
You
have
too.
Grey Axe ready and go and follow as well.
Okay. And just like that, all of you disappear. It's a different time of day here. You can't see exactly what, as the colours of the sky are nothing like those you have seen back in Waterdeep, or indeed any city or country. Purple fades into magenta and peach, with a band of green iridescence to the sky that shimmers like a summer morning's haze. The air is almost unbearably sweet now, and sounds akin to birdsong surround you, only at a higher pitch, more piercing and present than what you have heard before. You seem to be standing in the middle of a vast forest. The plants and fungi similar in colour and shape to those behind you that you saw in Waterdeep that you pushed away through. However, these are twice as large and twice as vibrant. You are standing on what seems to be the edge of a natural cliff, cutting down through this vast forest, and it overlooks this endless plain of green, purple, and dark blue as the forest continues as far as the eye can see below.
Beautiful. Simply beautiful.
Yeah, Bobcat is just kind of standing in awe. He's never seen anything this natural beauty.
You know,
It is-
Fearless, I'm not sure I've ever agreed with you on something more.
Pepper's freaked out. She's kind of like, yeah, okay, let's go. She's never seen or experienced anything remotely like this. I mean, the closest she's ever come to nature has been like a city park. So this is a little weird for her. She's like, yeah, I don't think we're in Waterdeep anymore, Oscar. Let's go.
In that case, could Pepper please make the first perception check?
Oh, she can try.
Dun dun dun.
The rest of you are welcome to follow up when you feel that you would have broken from your reverie.
An 18.
It's a good one.
Minus,
Oh wow, nat 20.
24.
Oh man, I rolled a 20, but it didn't go far enough into the box. Hold on, let's do it.
Oh no.
I'm not doing it far enough. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so Pepper, you are the first one to notice what looks to be an enormous magenta eye staring at all six of you from the darkness in between a pair of tree trunks on the same level as you, just before the trees give way to this open patch of grass and clovers before the drop off on the cliff. And Padiah, you see a little bit more detail in this. This eye shines with this captivating iridescence that it's difficult to tear your eyes away, but the closer you look, the less it looks like an eye, and the more you notice movement around it, and you see that something is coming closer through the forest.
Pepper has already knocked an arrow and is waiting.
Oh, well, when I see that,
Padiah's gonna whistle sharply and say, "We might have company here in a minute."
Pepper, I'd
Can
like
I-
to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Yes, Anka, sorry?
Or quicker
Can
than
I
a minute.
intimidate whatever is coming towards us?
You can
16.
certainly try. If you want to roll intimidate, go ahead.
Wrong box. I hate that.
Okay, so you square up to your tallest height, Anka, but it doesn't seem to prevent the oncoming of this enormous eye as it glows through the depths of the woodland. And just as you're about to knock that arrow, Pepper, there is movement that you just about catch out the corner of your eye, and you move your feet just in time before a snaking vine grasps around your ankle and was going to drag you back. But you manage to get out of the way, and just as that happens, the eye explodes out of the forest, and a enormous praying mantis the size of an auroch charges towards you. I would like everyone to please roll initiative.
No!
We got there in the end. Oh, I've got to do it too.
+1 modifier, because dex.
Pew! Oh yeah, let's do it.
Okay, what do these guys get? The good news is I rolled really bad initiative.
So did Pepper. Go figure.
All right, I'm going to use the CR method. 20 to 25.
I got a 21.
21. 15 to 20. Okay. 10 to 15.
13.
10.
14.
Okay, so 14
Everyone.
for Bobcat, was it?
Yep.
Okay. 13 for Arca.
Mm-hmm.
And then was that 11 for Pepper?
10.
Oh, 10 for Pepper, that was it. And then 5 to 10.
6.
Six. And then Peerless on 4.
Yeah.
Oh, poor,
Wow,
poor
that eye is
Peerless.
just so damn pretty. What
So
did I roll?
crushing.
A 1, a 7, and a 12. Gotcha. It was pretty. Let's pop these guys in here.
If Pepper always gets low rolls, we know who we're always waiting for.
And then a 1, a 7. Okay, first up, Padaya, you have this enormous mantis in these beautiful, almost hard to look at colors. It is charging right towards your party. And it's kind of emitting this ear-splitting kind of ring rate sound as it's coming towards you.
Did you just make that noise?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Oh my lord, that was good. Great. Well, I'm gonna try to walk to intercept this peacock praying mantis thing, and just
Go for it.
put down the lantern, draw the rapier, and just kind of stand in the way, and take the dodge action.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Bobcat.
Oh my gosh, so soon.
Yeah. There's a big disparity between first and second.
I thought I had a little
mine,
time. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, you guys see me just say something weird, I don't know, and then do like that, and then all of a sudden, and I do it kind of like flourishly, like I don't know what I'm doing, but this is how I think magic works, right? So I go,
Cute.
and then I have a big flame coming straight out of my hand, and I just straight at the mantis toss it. And I need to roll the attack. Oh my gosh, why are you so... roll there.
Oh, that's
Kind
Yes!
Good time.
Okay,
Does it-
roll.
Alright.
Okay, we're gonna roll your damage and then double it.
Okay, that is...
Don't tell my
Eight.
friends.
4.
4 damage. Well, this fire blasts into the creature, and it rears back, and these enormous scythe-like front legs just start flailing around, and each of these is like a serrated blade, and they're now like thrashing around in the air above you. But it does take some damage.
Oh, that does not bode well.
How close was I to it when that happened?
How close did you want to be?
I was probably about 20 feet away, is what I was thinking.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right,
All right.
I want to move 20 feet back. So I'm 40 feet from it now.
At this point, you are very much at getting towards the edge of this kind of cliff, so you can't move
Okay.
that much further.
Got
Okay,
it.
cool. Next up, Anka.
Go straight towards it and whack it with the great axe.
That's a classic barbarian move. Roll to attack.
Uh,
Oh my!
What are you doing?
DM quietly adds 20 more HP to the boss.
Don't tempt me further. Okay. Roll some damage and then double it.
1d12 plus 3. So it's a plus 6. If I put 6 on it, is that fair? Put 6. No, it'll just double it.
Only the dice hit doubled up the strength.
Yeah.
10. So I'm trying to find the d12. I think that's what I want.
So that's 14 plus 6. That's 20 damage in one go. Wow.
I put the plusage on the thing already. So 20.
Oh, 20. Yeah. All right. So you hack at it with this great axe, and you manage to cleave through a portion of this strong chitinous, beautiful iridescent armor on the outside of its body. And again, it emits this awful scream, but you have cloven a hefty portion of this bug off of it, as this kind of gooey magenta blood just kind of sticks to your great axe. Okay, it is now the Fey Ankeg's turn. The mantis rears back again, and these legs flail, and then suddenly the wings from under the carapace flare up, and a pair of these enormous iridescent glowing eyes suddenly hits all of you, and the colors just swim in and out of each other in your vision. And I would like everyone to make a wisdom saving throw.
Ugh.
But that's the worst.
Yes!
I know.
I got 10.
Go upstairs to eat because I cough so much.
11 for Pepper.
Okay. Cool. Okay.
15.
What is the save? Okay,
If it's a
if
5,
you got...
I get it.
It's not 5. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Is it 10?
It's 12.
I was so close.
If you did not roll above a 12, these colors just seem to just swim before your eyes, and you are stunned until the end of your next turn.
Ooh.
And
Can
with
I
that,
still see technically?
you can. So if you're stunned, you essentially can't. You're incapacitated for your next action.
Because of I'm asking because of my
Danger
what's it
sense?
called? Yeah.
What does actually just danger sense give you?
I'm trying to find that. Features and traits.
Gives you advantage on dex saves if you can see.
You have advantage on dex saving throws against effects that you can see while not blinded, deafened, or incapacitated.
Yeah, you're not technically
This isn't
blinded, so I'll let you hold on to that.
But is this only dex
Oh,
saves?
no, you are incapacitated, so yeah.
Yeah.
But this is only on dex saves, though, right? That danger
Yeah, and it's
sense
only on
work.
deck saves. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so with that, the Ankeg then is going to slash down at the barbarian that just cleaved off a portion of its armor. And because you are stunned, it's going to have advantage on the attack, I believe.
I'm class 15.
Okay, we'll see if it can hit. Whee! 21 to hit. That's gonna hit ya.
Ow.
Ouch.
What do I take?
Okay. You are going to take... I'm trying to do this properly. Boop. You're going to take 7 slashing damage as this scythe-like front leg just cuts across your body.
Okay, I am down to 20. Just so you know.
That's something. All right. Next up is Pep. I believe you got hit, didn't you?
Yep, Pepper is stunned. So she's
Yeah.
just kind of like, shit.
Just like trying to clear your head of these colors that keep flashing in your eyes. It's like a really bad migraine for a moment.
It's
Okay.
beautiful.
And then that clears, though, at the end of this turn. So as soon as my turn is done, I'm no longer stunned.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. After Pep is the first of the Vine Blights. So this thing that you just about managed to dodge on your previous turn seems to have reared back, and you then feel this vine trying to wrap around you again. So that's going to be...
Another dex save?
Nope, this is going to be it, doing a straight attack this time.
Oh, okay.
But does a 12 hit you?
No, it does not.
It does not. So this vine just seems to like slap at your legs, and again you seem to dance away from it as you avoid being grappled by this creature. And you can now see this shambling pile of vines is kind of taken a form. It's almost taken this kind of humanoid shape as the vines wriggle and coil outside of each other like maggots or snakes, and they just kind of try and sneak towards you and catch hold of you. Next up is Damascus.
I would like to attack the mantis creature
All right.
with my
Roll
mace.
to hit. Alas, a 7 does not quite hit as
That's
this
good.
strong chitinous armor on the side that you strike just seems to slightly bounce off. Do you have any bonus actions you'd like to make?
Yeah, as my bonus action, I will look over at the barbarian and say, Moradin sustain you, and cast Healing Word.
Mm.
Beautiful.
And how much healing does that do?
I will roll that real quick. Four points.
That's bad. Take 4 points back.
24. So, for record.
Peerless, I believe you are still trying to shake off the effects of the stun this time.
Yes. Yes.
As these lights just swim before your eyes.
Mm-hmm. And
But you are now free of it.
Yep. Wonderful.
Back up to Padaya. Now, did you make the save? You did not.
Nope. What is this AoE stun against level 2 party? Not fair.
Say sorry. But now you're free of it as you manage to shake it off just as you come to the end of your turn. Bobcat, you did make the
Yes.
save. What would you like to do?
I did. I'm gonna try to throw another fireball right in its stupid face.
Go for it.
Okay. That one wasn't as good. It was way
Hang on,
worse.
did you mean to roll a d12?
What?
Is it?
No, did
it
I?
good? Yeah, you rolled
Yep.
d12. Roll again.
Ah! I did not. I threw the 20, and then I just picked it
It's
up
hard-
again. Okay. Well,
It's
it's
hard to hit when
16.
you're rolling a d12.
16. That is going to hit. Roll damage.
Okay.
Come on.
What am I doing? Oh, I was like, which one? Oh my god, come on.
That's unfortunate.
That
As
is
this
unfortunate.
little candle flame just goes.
Maybe it hit it in the eyeball, and now it can't
It's
see
probably seems to
anything.
have done a bit of damage. There's a little bit of singeing. A little bit of singeing. Anka, it is your turn, but you also have to spend it shaking off the effects of the stun.
Mm.
However, those will go at the end of your turn, so your next turn will be back to normal. It is now the turn of the mantis. Enraged. Yeah, it's come around again. The mantis enraged is going to, let's see, who's in the vicinity of it. We have, I believe, Padaya and Anka are right up in its business.
Mm.
And me.
It is going to charge.
I went up and hit it
forward.
too.
You did. So it's going to use one strike, as it's kind of now been flanked by a lot of you, and it's feeling a bit hemmed in. It's going to sweep with one of these enormous scythe-style legs, this time at Padaya. And we got a lovely +5 to hit. Boom. Oh, it's an 11 hit you there.
No, 11
It
does
does
not hit me,
not.
as I definitely roll.
You do a Dark Souls roll to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Enraged, it then swings with the other one of these enormous sharp legs and tries to catch Damascus. Oh, didn't go in the box because I'm terrible. 11. Does 11 hit Damascus? I don't think it does.
No.
Alright, at this point it's flailing wildly and has failed to hit anyone. Ugh. Pep, it is your turn.
Right. So I have a vine blight in melee with me,
Yes.
correct? Okay. I am going to first off. I'm going to tell Oscar to head back because when I came off of Oscar, I would have stepped between the vine blight and him.
Yeah.
So I told him
Oscar is
to.
currently just barking like crazy, and as you turn to step back, he kind of dutifully removes himself from danger's way.
Yep, he knows what he's supposed to do because he's a good boy. And then I'm going to fire at the... Okay, because I already have my bow drawn. So I know
Okay.
that's a disadvantage. Since I'm in melee with another creature. But
Ooh, but still enough to hit. Yes, it is. Roll some damage.
Nice.
8 points
8
of
damage.
piercing.
Beautiful.
Not
As
bad.
this arrow just lodges right in the gap where Anka has already cleaved off some of the armor and pierces deep. And you hear this. Oh, and sneak attacks. That's some extra damage, isn't it?
Wait, you have disadvantage on the attack. You can't
That's
have a
another
sneak attack.
Oh.
But I have an ally within 5 feet. Don't have to have
That only
advantage
works
if
when
I
you
have an
don't
ally.
have but you had disadvantage. That only works when you don't have disadvantage.
Really? Is that...
Yeah.
That was...
So if it cancels out.
Oh, that's right. It's only disadvantage on the attack. You're right.
Well, you
Shoot.
still did
All right.
like max damage on the bow, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
So the mantis is at this point just shrieking with this fury, it just being suddenly attacked from all angles by what it thought might be quite nice squishy prey. But as you do that, the vine that is in melee with you is going to try and make another grapple. Wait, where's the d20 gone? I saw the way up here. Oh, but it is not going to make it, as it keeps trying to whip at you with these vines, and you just keep dancing out of the way like the deaf little gnome you are. And we are on to Damascus.
I will try to hit it again.
Go for it. That's enough to hit. Roll damage as you strike with the mace.
Pepper did bonus action disengage and moved back, disengaged from the vine creature and moved back 10 feet.
Okay. Okay, so
8
another
points
8
of
damage.
bludgeoning damage, and with the blessing on my mace, that's magical if it matters.
Awesome.
Ooh.
So again, you smack down, and this time the chitinous armor starts to crack and splinter under your mace, and this beautiful iridescence is slowly overrun with this magenta, sticky blood that just starts pouring out of the wounds. Next up is Peerless.
I finally shake off the effects of the thing, and I'm going to rush forward with drawing my sword, readying my shield. Now's the time when I show them I'm not just a pretty face. This is where I roll 1.
Please do.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh!
get him!
Yes,
Critical
that
hit.
will in fact hit.
All right.
Give me a roll and
And-
double it.
Yep. So let me drop that in there. Oh, it automatically selected that as crit. So 9
right,
plus 3,
do that.
12 points of damage.
Except that's going to be 18 plus 3 for the crit. Oh no, you rolled it twice. No.
Yeah, I already set it up in Fantasy Grounds.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
it
All right,
knows
well, that's still 12 points of damage. And as you lunge forwards and you stab in with this long sword, you manage to hit exactly the point. The armor has already been shattered and peeled back, and you feel the blade sink deep into this stringy kind of purplish flesh. And as you are pressing the blade forwards, you feel you must strike a vital point, because the whole body of this mantis starts to spasm and twitch. And after a few moments of holding the blade in place, it starts to grow still.
Yes.
Did you see this? Did you see this? Everyone take
Mighty
note of this.
afraid I may have missed that, actually. What happened?
We softened it
As
up
you
for
say
my
that,
friend.
Are you
From in the branches of the tree above where the mantis was coming out, down snakes this long green tendril and tries to wrap around the throat of Peerless.
Oh no.
Oh no.
However, it's probably going to miss with a 10, because I can't roll. So this thing tries to grab for you and just about misses. And as it misses, the bulk of the creature falls out of the tree, and another vine blight pulls itself up to height now, squaring off against you.
Don't wrinkle his clothes. He left his servants at home.
What she said.
All right, next up, back up to Padiah.
Alright. So there's these 2 vine blight things left, and that's about it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Alright. I'm gonna go up to the one that just tried to
Girlfriend
strangle
again.
Peerless.
I'm still
And presumably it's like next to him. right?
Yeah, you probably have a flanking advantage at this point, I
Yeah.
think.
I mean, he just needs to be next to it to get sneak attack. So, I rapier and kind of a little slow, just come in with like an overhand slice.
Beautiful.
And that is numbers.
Ooh. Yeah, that's
Nice.
definitely gonna hit. Roll some damage.
All right. It is 2 different damage dice because I have a rapier and sneak attack. So
Ah, yes.
I will do rapier and sneak attack. Oh my
Oh
god!
my gosh. That's
Nice.
some very pleasant damage. Wow. Okay,
Those are some good numbers.
you just
Rogue gonna
hack at this vine blight, and you sever most of these vines that are now just whipping and like trying to grab onto you and latch onto your sword. You just slice clean through them, and there is not much of this critter left by the time you are finished. It's still standing, but just about. Because that's a lot
What
of
does this thing
damage.
look like? Is it just like a mass of viney, murdery
It's
death?
essentially, as soon as it lollops out of the tree, the vines started to form up, and it almost took a shape that mirrored what it was attacking. It essentially looked like took about the rough shape of a humanoid with
Oh,
these
now I feel
tendrily
bad,
arms,
thanks.
a bit like a Slender Man kind of thing, with these whippy arms that just come out and try and get you.
Or like
Like a
someone
fruit.
with little long sleeveys?
Yeah, that too.
Alright. And
And-
I will, I'll disengage as a bonus action and just go behind Peerless, because I'm not that brave.
Bobcat, you're up next.
Yeah, so there's are they the same creature or one is the
Yeah,
vine
there
blight
are
and one is
two
the thing?
vine blights. One is behind Pep, and the other one is been vastly reduced next to Padiah.
Okay. Another one has not been hit at all, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm gonna hit, because it's by Pepper, and Pepper is with Oscar, and Pepper is the one that has the other thing to get this process completed so I can get back home. I'm actually gonna produce flame again and then shoot it at the one by Pepper in hopes that I can weaken it enough for her to take it
Okay.
down next round.
Do a roll for me.
I shall. Ah, haha.
Nice.
22.
Very nice. Okay, roll damage for me there. See, I really
I
feel
will.
like fire damage should be double on Vine Blights, but it's not.
I mean, you could make it. Oh, I got an 8.
I don't think I need to. That's an 8. As this fire just takes hold over these vines, and does this one persist if it catches fire? With the
The
spell?
what? The
Does
flame?
the spell persist? Yeah.
It does not say that.
All
I
right.
think it works just
there
like
are some
fireball,
that
like it
says
just hits
does.
it once.
All right, so the flames kind of coil up, but there is a very large hole been singed in this creature made of vines. Next up is Anka.
Can I grab the vine blight near Pepper and throw it down the cliff?
Oh, I like it. First, roll to hit for like an unarmed attack for me first.
That's a D20 plus 5.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Plus 5.
14. Yes, you can grapple it. So you're going to try and throw it off the cliff. I would like you to make a contested strength roll with the Vine Blight.
I get advantage apparently because I got proficiency.
Is that advantage, or does it just add your proficiency bonus,
Oh.
or is it an ability?
You would, if you're raging, you would have advantage on a strength ability check.
Can I rage?
You'd like to use your bonus action to rage?
Yes.
I will allow you to do that because I'm nice and feeling kind. Okay, so
I
you
will
have advantage.
rage.
Yep. So then roll a strength check with advantage.
So
roll one without
that's a
advantage.
plus 5 on both. And I believe I get 2 20s because I get 2 of them because advantage.
Yeah.
So you just click the little advantage button in the bottom left.
Okay. So
That added them together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool. I can pull that roll apart. So you managed to successfully grapple this vine blight, and you're pushing it towards the cliff. And as you're doing so, the vine blight grows these tendril-like roots out from the bottom of the vines that are forming the legs, and they anchor down into the ground of the cliff and hold it fast. As you're trying to push it over the edge, it's just about resisting you, and the two of you are kind of in this like will they, won't they, push and pull struggle right on the precipice of this cliff.
Can I keep it in that position?
Yes, you've succeeded in the grapple, so you will hold it there, and it would have to succeed a strength saving throw to get out of that on its turn. But
Cut
it is
its
now
legs! I yell at everyone.
it is now Pepper's turn.
Well, seeing as how the Goliath has the Vine Blight grappled, she is going to shoot it with her short bow.
Okay, well,
Please aim for the legs.
She's already aiming for the legs because she's short.
She's short.
it's true.
Nope.
Nope. Roll a...
Nope.
Ooh, toss a coin for me. Just do a d2. If it has a function for coin tossing.
You can just call odds or evens on any die.
That's true.
Okay. So we'll do a d6. Evens.
Evens. You do not hit Anka. Luckily.
Okay.
As your arrow goes wide.
I wouldn't feel it anyway. I get resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing anyway.
Well, not quite immunity, but still. You miss with the arrow, thankfully, and do not hit your companion. Next up.
This action to hide.
Okay. Do you need to
And
make a
I'm gonna roll
stealth check for that?
Yep.
Cool.
Yes, I do. Oh, would you?
Would me grappling give everyone else advantage, by the way?
On attacking
30-20
it.
for...
Ooh,
No,
yeah,
I'm saying,
yeah,
with me grappling the thing, would everyone else get advantage?
It depends on the attack, but for most attacks, yes. You have to remember, you essentially have it up against the edge of a cliff. The only way for them to attack it is around you. They don't have its back to them, but they could go from the sides. And Pepper succeeds in deftly finding some tree roots to hide behind, and you are definitely out of sight of these creatures. It is now the turn of the Vine Blight that I believe is the grappled one. Yes. And it is going to try and make a strength check to pull out of the... No, it's not. Anka, you feel these vines start to weave around your body, and some of them start to coil around your throat and squeeze, and it is going to make attack on you with advantage because technically you're grappled with it as well.
Can I bite it?
On your turn, you can. Alright, 17 plus 4. It is going to hit you as this vine just starts to constrict your throat and you feel your air being reduced slightly. Now, this will be halved because it's technically bludgeoning damage.
You're just so angry.
It's so angry, your throat muscles just bulge and resist. So you are going to take a total of 5 bludgeoning damage after it's been halved.
After it's been halved, so 19.
No, just a total of 5.
Oh.
I think
5
he's saying
total.
what totally is that now.
Oh, yes, because you were healed. Yes, 19, that's absolutely correct. And you're now kind of just grappled with each other as it holds onto you and just seems to be trying to see if it can drop you before you drop it. Next up, Damascus.
Okay. I will go ahead and take a swing at the roots of the vine blight that is grappling our Goliath friend.
Okay, so you run over to that blight and you're going to have a hefty swing at that. Roll to attack for me. It's 5, 12. You
12.
just about managed to hit round the side of his legs and strike the legs of the blight. Please roll your damage. Okay, 7. You manage to take out one of this thing's legs and you shatter where the roots are tying it ground. It's just about holding on, but it has lost a leg, which will give Anka an advantage if he continues to try to throw it off the ledge.
Which I will be trying to do.
Yep. Peerless, it is your turn. You have downed one beastie.
So how many blights are there exactly?
There is one blight looking pretty weak in front of Padaya, and the other one pinned against the edge of the cliff by Anka. Just 2.
Oh. So the one that was by me, I smacked it, but then I actually walked away and left
Yes, you
Fearless in
disengaged.
front of it.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you. Have it you! And I'll slash at it with my longsword.
Go for
Attempting
it.
to pierce it much the same as I did its bigger cousin.
Ooh, with
Not
a
so
7.
good.
It's sad. Perhaps as you whip the longsword out of the corpse of the Ankeg, maybe it throws off your strike a bit, because as you slash down, it seems to just about move out of the way of your strike and avoid the impact. Do you have any
Padaya, step
further
back.
things?
You disturbed my swordplay.
Well, you seem to have this one handled, and pat him on the shoulder.
I will say that sassy quips are always a free action in my games.
I mean, it's also
He's a
my
fighter,
turn
not
next
a-
anyway.
He's a fighter, not a gardener.
You know, speaking of, I'm going to do an action surge, and I'm going
Ooh.
to attack it again.
Beautiful.
I can't let this embarrassment go on. I have to. There we go.
It seems you can't. Roll damage.
Okay. For 10 points of damage.
With that sweep, you cleave clean through the center of this vine blight, and the pile of vegetation and vines just flops to the ground, motionless.
Nice.
I raise my sword to the sky. Lay it down.
Yeah,
You
I
have
was
that
believing
one,
you.
Anka? Or do you need me to come over there and take care of it for you?
Cut his leg down!
Hey man, why don't you worry about those grass stains on your pants over there, huh?
And with that, it is actually Padaya's turn.
Padaya will walk up to the back end of our Goliath friend. I don't know how far away I am, but I can dash if I need to.
Yeah, you can get there. It's probably only about 20 feet between you.
Okay. And I'm going to take out my medkit and use the healer feat to begin patching him up from behind.
Amazing.
Which will heal him for 7 points of damage. I'll get you.
I love
Six.
it.
No, 25.
I'll get you fixed up right. I'll get you fixed up right good for that right now. You're gonna be fine.
25. 25, I think.
Very noble of you. Bobcat, it's over to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to move around to where I am on the side and have a fairly clear shot of this green monstrosity. And I am going to conjure up one more flame to throw at its face.
Go for it.
Or wherever the appropriate
Ankle.
place is to throw it.
Ankles! Ankles!
It's all right.
There we go, 21.
That's good enough.
All
You're
right.
not going to hit Anka. You're going to hit the blight as you aim at its other
All right.
ankle. Roll some damage for me.
4.
Total of 4. All right. With that, you see the flames hit the vines that are keeping it tethered to the cliff, and they slowly burn away. There is now nothing holding this thing back. And Anka, wouldn't you know it, it is your turn.
Pick it up so it's basically not on the ground anymore and just throw it.
All right. Roll a strength check for me just to see.
Strength.
I hope you don't critically fail.
5 and adventure and what's it called advantage.
Yes, you will have advantage on strength.
I'll just roll the same one. I'll just roll twice.
Yeah.
14 and the second one is
Oh, that was near 20. But 19 is certainly enough as you do a proper rugby throw and launch this vine blight over the edge of the cliff, and you just watch this green, tentacly, slender man-y form just plummeting down into the woods below and eventually disappear through the leaves. And it returns to a semblance of stillness all around you.
I hope it didn't have a
am
head in
gonna-
the pocket.
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm really hoping that stupid bug has the card and not that vine creature. So I'm gonna go try to loot the bug. Can you do
Okay.
that? Can you loot a
You
bug?
can assist.
I unrage.
You can unrage. All right, who would like to be bug looting?
Me.
I will help.
I'll observe.
I'll help Bobcat with that.
Okay, so Bobcat, if you're getting help, you can roll investigation with advantage. Damascus, if you want to do some looting, actually, Damascus, could you roll a wisdom check for me?
I'll be keeping an eye out for any other attackers.
Same.
I put my sword away.
I wipe my axe of the creature. The creature's echo.
Okay,
Go.
so starting with Damascus, and I'll move through this fairly quick because I know it's almost time for us to finish. Damascus, as you look at this creature, you don't know much about it, but you can tell this beautiful, thick, iridescent chitin could definitely be crafted into some truly amazing armor if you were to harvest it from the body and take it back with you. As for Bobcat and Pepper, you're also going through this body, and after you're helping each other, and after a few minutes of searching through this very gooey, jelly-like purple flesh, one of you feels something almost kind of sharp, and you pull your hand back, and you almost get a paper cut, but you are able to pull out and shake the goo from a card with the same design on the back as the Seeker card. And you can see depicted on the front of it is, when you first look at it, a beautiful magenta, purple, green, blue, and gold praying mantis. But as you look at it a little more, you see it's almost a bit of an optical illusion because it also takes the form of a very beautiful and very ethereal looking woman, just kind of looking coyly out of the card at you. But
That's
Well,
creepy.
guys, we have our next mission.
What does the
Great.
card say?
the card says spring at the bottom.
Hey,
Oh.
Bobcat, is this stuff poisonous?
Which part?
Never mind. And Pepper just cuts off a chunk of flesh and just tosses it to Oscar. And she'll
Oscar,
cut off a few more pieces. And it's like,
Gratefully just kind of catches it and starts shaking it around and looks very happy with himself. And you
so she's got a pouch now of bug treats for Oscar.
You can spend you can basically spend as long as you want shaving off bug treats.
I
And then
certainly
you'll-
hope all the rest of these are this easy to recover. We could be done with this in a couple moons.
Easy. Okay.
Someone stole at least 3. It cannot be that easy.
Let's hope we don't have to go to Carcerai. That place is horrible.
I think we did quite well, and I think with you by my side, Padaya, or behind me, I think we can succeed at our task.
Well, you see, you have this shiny coat and a medal on you. Ding, ding. It makes you a little better for being in front because you're so visible.
I think the rest of us
Yes.
helped a little. Jeez.
Yes, of course, of course.
Yay.
Anka, you were having fun playing around with that one piece of wood that you threw off the cliff.
Don't make me throw you off the cliff next.
Dungeon Master, can I roll a sleight of hand check, please?
You can
Oh, no.
indeed.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a puppy.
Peerless now has on his back, on the armor, just multiple handprints and smears of bug goo.
And
I guess I
majestic
deserve that.
presenter it is too.
Yes.
You know, you should really get a servant with prestidigitation. I hear that's useful with this kind of stuff.
Do you know
Hey,
one?
Chan.
Mage hand would also work.
I'm sure I don't notice it yet. So
Oh,
That's fair.
And with that, the 6 of you are free to cross back into your own realm in whenever you please. And as you cross back, as you carry the card with you, you can feel this kind of veil that you stepped through starts to knit up as you pass back into the realm. And especially now you have replaced the card back into the box with the Seeker card. And as you step through, you can feel this wild surge of life start to retreat and shrivel and die back. And it's maybe you find it sad in a way that this is kind of slowly dying off from this little vibrant corner of Waterdeep that suddenly was filled with so much crazy fey magic and life. But Waterdeep, as it always does, returns to normal and goes about its usual business. And you have collected the first of potentially many of the Deck of Many Worlds.
We are the card
Yay!
captors.
You are card captors, and it's a mystic adventure, and you've all guessed it now.
Huzzah. Huzzah. Good job.
Anyway, I really
so
hope
fun.
you enjoyed that, guys. I'm sorry there was a lot of exposition heavy there at the start. I had a lot to get through.
That
Not
was
at all.
fun.
First
I like
adventure is
that.
always like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. You have plenty of time to kill us later. Don't worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
talking
don't
too
worry.
much
I'll
on this
ramp
one.
up those encounters. I suddenly had to adapt it for 6, and I think I've run an encounter for 6 before. So, but yeah, that was
you,
good
had
fun.
you also had to adapt it for.
Get it?
Also, I rolled
Three
so badly.
crits.
I couldn't hit you.
I think you
Thank
had to adapt it for 3 crits in 1 round.
I know, guys.
Yeah.
What is this? Fantasy Grounds?
We rolled absurdly.
Yes, very absurdly.
But that was
Either absurdly well or absurdly poorly.
That's true.
But yeah, that was really good fun. Thank you so much, guys, for
Thank you.
those of our guest players who joined us today. That was very lovely of you to step in so last minute.
That's good.
Very appreciative. Your characters were great. And thank you to everyone who came along to watch. Now, is it customary to do a quick sign-off for all the players when we finish? Lovely. Well, I will go last then, and let's go the other way around this time. So let's start with the wonderful Bobcat Johnson.
Oh, me! Hi, everybody.
Right,
I am. I'm Birdie, aka the Birdiesaurus. You can find me everywhere on the internet at the Birdiesaurus, and this was so cool. I love how this was set up. Like, you had a great idea for how to do this type of campaign, and I'm so excited to go to all the other worlds and planes and things like that. So thanks for running an awesome first session. I loved it, and thanks to the guest players. You guys were so great.
I might join as a regular. If that's all right.
So
It's
am I
fine.
next?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I wasn't sure how we were.
Yeah,
structuring
just
it.
go around like anti-clockwise.
I'm Nat. I am the Tuesday DM. You can find me at CrimeNat on Twitter. That's where I post all my stuff. I am the newsletter producer of RPG Kitchen. We try to feed the hobby, support indie RPGers, and feed the hungry. We actually just today opened submissions for content for June/July issues. So if you have anything you want to share to the world and help support our cause while you're at it, you can find that as my pinned tweet. And that's my big news for the day. This was lots of fun. Thank you to everyone. I had a blast.
Me, right? I think. Okay. So my name is Craft Zero. I don't really have anything to pitch, but I do have a lot of appreciation for letting me join in at the last minute, and it was a lot of fun playing around with all of you.
Thank you.
Even though my character is a bit of a bore.
Oh no, there's
I had fun with them.
every party needs one.
I love fancy pants.
Same.
I'm myself. I have Twitter, and thank you for letting me join. I said I may join if the allowances are for a permanent one. More
Well,
permanent.
thank you for coming.
And that is my social media.
Okay, our wonderful Dragonborn friend up next.
I had a lot of fun. This is a really cool setting. I look forward to watching the rest of the series and seeing how it all plays out. My name is Alyssa. You can find me at Origami Shuriken on Twitter. I don't have anything to pitch at the moment, but I pop up on as guests on various streams every once in a while. And I post about artwork and stories from the games that I run at home. So give me a follow if you wish, and I will see you all on the internet.
Thank you so much again for coming.
Go follow her. No,
Mhm.
that way?
Yeah, that's the right
I
way.
get that.
You had it.
yeah, whatever way. Hi, Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord. That's where you can find me on the Twitters. Thank you guys. Helped make this first session so awesome and coming in at the last minute. Appreciate it. Alyssa, it's always great to see you again and to play with you. It was so much fun.
Good to play with you. Thanks for having me back.
I play a lot on Twitch. Tomorrow I'll be here at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for the first session of a Greyhawk game, Basilica of Cudgel. Playing, well, you'll have to watch and find out and see what I'm playing. Then I'll be back on Monday with the first episode of Season 2 of our Inquisitor Warhammer 40k using Mutants and Masterminds. We'll find out whether or not Sifenia comes back from the acid of Lake. And let's see, where else can you find me? There's a pinned tweet on my page. Sunday nights, I'm at You Made Gaming. Yes, the Arcana Code. That's where you can find me. Sunday nights on the Arcana Code. Tuesday nights you can find me on Mad Bird Streams. And then I'll be back here next Thursday. And thanks everybody for coming to watch.
Awesome. So again, thank you so much. I am Rachel. I am at Talonir on Twitter. If you felt like giving a follow, I do a lot of D&D and general tabletop illustration and artwork and stuff, which I generally post to my Twitter like constantly. You can find me obviously here now every Thursday running this game, which is wild. On Mondays for the next few weeks, I'll be on the Blood on the Thames channel, which is a Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition game. And then on Tuesday, you can find me on alternating weeks. Next week, I'm playing The Witcher tabletop RPG on Susanna Grace's channel. And then the following Tuesday, and then kind of alternating like that, I play D&D 5e in Final Rites, which is an all-tiefling campaign set aboard a boat on the River Styx, which is hilarious. But once again, thank you so much for coming along to watch Deck of Many Worlds. It means a ton. This is one of my first stints DMing online, so I'm so grateful to y'all.
You were amazing.
Good job.
Thank you so much. So yeah, thank you so much. Had a great time. Are there any other sign-offs I haven't done? Cleric, you're kind of the aficionado here. Anything else to sign off with? Or is that everything?
I think we're good.
I think that's everything. So yeah, thank you so much. And see you next week, I guess.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.